Yeah, keeping you on your toes with Jill right here. Rich Evans? Who's Rich Evans? All right, hang on. The entire stream will just be zoomed. Yes, this is just a vlog. So there's no substance. It's just me talking with Joel's face. It is actually a very slow zoom in that you can't tell. Depends on how long we're going. But it's very, very slow zoom in. The Last of Us 2 script is done. Oh, by the way, if the stream dies, that's because I got like a message saying like reboot and select proper boot device or something. I don't know. But if the stream dies, that's why. And I'll be back on momentarily. That literally just happened like 10 minutes ago, and I was like, what the fuck? Okay, yeah, we have to talk about... Before we begin, we need to talk about this, because I don't... I think I tweeted about this the other day, and I'm very... I know, Oaken. I'm like legit. Like my shit computer at work with Windows 7. My shit computer at my work on Windows 7 almost sometimes performs better than my computer at home, just because Windows 10 is just. Ugh. Before we begin, we need to talk about this because I'm very upset. I came across this. What was this? Yeah, it was only a few days ago. So Craig Mazin, who did, I just watched Chernobyl. I want to say maybe like a month ago. It's very good. God damn it. Fuck. Shit. I'm so upset with this. So HBO's The Last of Us will feature a jaw drop moment cut from the game. Okay. So let's talk about this. What? Like, there's no like details of like what it is, but I've been trying to like guess, like, and I can't think of anything. Like, I literally have no idea what this could possibly be, and like, or where it would be placed. Like a jaw drop moment? Like what? Like I'm trying to think of the story in part 1, and I'm trying to like consider where they could put in like a jaw drop moment. And I like I'm coming up on thin air. Like I have no idea. When Craig Mazin, I heard that he was doing it because I had not seen Chernobyl, but I had heard excellent things about it. And then, of course, I watched it, and it was excellent. I was pretty pumped, but jaw drop moment, like what could this possibly be? In a recent interview with BBC, Craig Mazin, the award-winning creator of HBO's Chernobyl and the creator of The Last of Us Adaptation, went into detail regarding his mentality and thought process behind the adaptation of the critically acclaimed Naughty Dog video game. I know, Steven, but that, and I kind of like Steven. I'm not as worried since it was cut from the game, not add to the show, which means whatever it is won't contradict anything. But that the thing is, like, why are they putting it in? If it was cut, like, why was it cut? You know, I mean, there's plenty of fucked up shit in the game itself. I think it's Druckmann who let's keep reading. I think it's Druckmann who wants to put it in. Yeah, Jerome, that's what I was thinking too. There's like that whole I've been seeing flowing around the museum level. Yeah, but they're probably maybe they will put like a full episode. I could see like a full episode being dedicated to just Left Behind. That'd be interesting, I guess. I don't know. Left Behind's great. It's just not necessary to the narrative. Okay, but then, so speaking on the adaptation, Mazin revealed that we're creating new things and reimagining what is already there to present it from a different format. Okay. See, this is what pisses me. This is what's like wearing me about like when people. This is what's like worrying me about like the way he says it. It's like, oh well, we're switching from a video game to a TV show, so we have to change things. Like, no, you don't. Like, The Last of Us, the game it's just like a TV show. It's basically an HBO series, or like what's it called? Like a limited series, like True Detective or something. Like the self-contained story over like, but instead of like 2 hours, it's like 8 hours. That's basically what The Last of Us is. Like, there's the gameplay, but like, the gameplay is almost like a speed bump, to be completely honest. And I know that sounds weird because it is a video game, but it's kind of the truth. Almost everyone who praises the game and loves the game can sort of concede that fact, that it's just sort of like it's for the story. So this whole thing, like, well, we're doing it in different formats, so it's got to be changed. It's like, what? No. Like, you... like, what? Okay, and then this is scary. Saying that our goal is not to keep... Here, let me just zoom in on this so you guys can see this, because this is horrifying. Saying that our goal is not to keep you in love with The Last of Us. Okay, wow. But to make you fall in love with it again in a different way. It's a passive way of taking it in instead of playing it. Again, it was never about that. But you'll be experiencing more with more characters in more ways. You know what, Heisenberg? I actually agree. You know, because I used to see, like, on Twitter and shit, like, a lot of people get upset when it's like, I mean, because like most video game adaptations are shit, but like they're not like shit. I mean, like sometimes like the adaptation of it was kind of what they're adapting was kind of dumb too. But I see that a lot with like anime, or actually, sorry, not anime. A better parallel would be comics. Like I follow a lot of people on Twitter. Well, I used to. I'm only following like 10 people. But back in the day, I used to follow a lot of comics people, and they would always like be very worried, like when like a new adaptation was coming out of like Spider-Man or like Batman. And I'm kind of like with, like you said, Heisenberg, I'm kind of like with them now. Like like this is how it feels, and I get it. Like I'm like, oh God, please stop. Just fucking they literally should just take the script of the game and just use that. Like what could you possibly change and add to the story? Oh no. To fans of the game, Mazin claimed that our intention is that you will watch the show and say this has violated nothing of what I loved about the game. That's not a very good This is I don't know why, but this line just kind of makes me this line just like makes me nervous. I don't know why. Well, the game isn't violated. It sounds like a yeah, that's what I was gonna say, Bleeders. I mean, I don't even know anything about Death Note, but I know that the adaptation was absolute shit. I watched the movie and I was like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, this line, this has violated nothing of what I loved about the game. I don't like that. That sounds like it's like bare minimum, like, well, he didn't destroy it, like, and what I witnessed in the game, but it has also brought me a whole lot more things I did not know, really amazing things. What the fuck does that mean? What? What is there more to know about The Last of Us? Oh, God. I feel like they're gonna fuck this up. God damn it. Okay, so here it is, and it's so it's not Mazin, it's Druckmann. Lastly, good one there, Kit Guru. Lastly, as a tease, Mazin revealed that Neil Druckmann, one of the Last of Us creators, told Mazin of a quote-unquote jaw-drop moment that was cut from the original game, to which his response was, "For sure, we have to do that. You couldn't stop me from doing that. You will have to shoot me to stop me from doing that." And there were a few things like that. Great. In the past, direct video game adaptations have often paled in comparison to their video game counterparts. It is therefore encouraging to see that HBO's The Last of Us is attempting to circumvent many of these common mistakes. What? Hang on. Does anyone know Druckmann, Bruce Stanley, Last of Us? What was the someone mentioned before that there was, and I don't know the credibility of this, but there was a big post. Last of Us, maybe Reddit has it. I don't know. Let me see. So there was the there's like a story going around. Again, I don't know the credibility of it, so don't take it as like gospel. But it was something about how Druckmann's original vision of The Last of Us was fucking ridiculous. Like apparently, here, let me see if I can find this original. Maybe Reddit has it. Right. Yeah, I never like watch Reddit, but it always. Okay, hang on. Let's see if it'll come up. And of course, my shit's fucking up. I think my connection's still strong. What's up, Usama? Yeah, I know. I moved, so. I moved, so it took a little while to get my shit back up and running. Oh, it's a story. So originally, I can't really find, I can't really find the like anything about it, but basically what basically the original idea, or what I heard, this is the rumor, I guess, is that Druckmann's original idea was fucking ridiculous. It was something about like Tess is like the bad guy, and then she kills Joel, and then Ellie has to kill Tess. And it was something like insane like that like resembles the finished game in no way possible. But it was Bruce Straley. I can't spell for shit. Oh, he worked as a designer on Gek, on the Gek games? That makes sense. What was he on The Last of Us? He was game director, and I think Druckmann was creative director? I honestly don't really understand. Bruce Straley as game director, and creative director was Neil. Okay. Yeah, so basically what the rumor that I heard, or what the story going around is, from what I've heard, is that basically Neil had like this incredibly ridiculous idea for the original vision of The Last of Us. And it was Bruce who basically had to come in and was like, "Yo, dude, no, this is bad." Because I'm trying to think of like his original like Druckmann's original vision about Tess being the bad guy or something, and I'm just like, from no measure of the imagination can I think of a way. I mean, I guess it's hard to say that just because. I mean, it would be a completely different game. So yeah. But so Bruce apparently left Naughty Dog after Uncharted 4. So here's what it had to say. Last of Us Uncharted director Bruce Straley joined today's episode of Kills. So he was with Naughty Dog for 17 years, and then he left. Let's see. So, gosh, it's difficult for reasons around. Hang on, let me see. I forget the game was starting. Okay, so I mean, this is like what I preach, but so this is him talking about his work on The Last of Us. From there, moving on to The Last of Us and creating a new IP from scratch. Even though people could say, oh, it's just Uncharted reskin, I got the same paradigm as far as cuts into gameplay, and it's third person. But other than that, trying to figure out a game and a world and a story and making it all cohesive and the stress, especially moving from something, so the product was finished at work. Yeah, he worked on Uncharted 2, and then he worked on Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 2. I actually haven't played the Uncharted games. I think I tried playing the first one for a bit and I wasn't a fan. I might try it sometime. Oh, some of you in the Discord were asking me to play Until Dawn. Is that the serial killer game? Hang on. Segue. No spoilers because yeah, it's the serial killer game. Yeah, I might do a run through of this. This looks cool. Did I get good reviews? Yeah, it got pretty good reviews. Okay, but this is where this is kind of like, it's kind of sad, like if you actually look at this. And then and this is Bruce basically talking about why he left Naughty Dog. And then Uncharted 4 showed up, and it was like, I guess there's a difference between doing something for yourself, which feels passionate, and I had my own theories that I was trying to expand upon between Uncharted 1, 2, and The Last of Us. And then Uncharted 4 became more like, how do I do this for the team and for the company? Because we need to get the game out the door, and we need it to be something good so that it didn't put a mark on the Naughty Dog name. I guess in hindsight, I took on the role more for the team than for me personally. Also, we did that game in 2 years, from the moment that Neil Druckmann and I stepped on, almost to the day, 2 years to create the best that then became the hardest project. So it just kind of sounds like he just got burned, not even burned out. I mean, he kind of mentions burned out, but it sounds more like he was just like, it got to the point like when Uncharted 4 came around that he wasn't making the game because they wanted to, like it wasn't the story that needed to be told. But they were just doing it because they're Naughty Dog, and it's a Uncharted with a massive IP. Uncharted 4 got great reviews. Right? Yeah. Yeah, it got great reviews. Yeah, got great reviews. I know 2 is like the best one. Oh, really, Jerome? I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't play the game, so I'm not sure. But I don't know. I guess I didn't really have any big interest in the Uncharted games. But yeah, I'm so that's the big thing about The Last of Us 2. I feel like it just isn't a story that needed to be told. I don't understand why they told this story. It doesn't seem like a story that needed to be told. You know, it's not something that I feel like, oh wow, I really need some resolution on that. And it's like, no. Like it's just nothing. There's nothing in The Last of Us 2 that added anything to it. Well, that's the thing, Oaken, because money. It's that's how I feel in a way, and it's just kind of like, or it's not even necessarily money, but the fact that they did it more because they had they did it more for the themes in the story, and they wanted to explore these themes, and kind of, because the whole game, for those of you who have not played Last of Us 2, I'd argue that it comes off as more of an experiment than a cohesive story. It's like kind of like a big, like almost like experiment. For those who have played the game, I think you kind of understand what I'm talking about. I kind of go into it in the video, in my script. But yeah, it comes off as more of like an experiment than it is an actual like game. And that's kind of how it felt. I felt like the characters were kind of like marching to the beat of the story, or rather marching. I phrased it like this in the video. The characters felt less like characters in Last of Us Part 2. They felt more like variables in an experiment. Like as if they were being manipulated via the creator's whim in order to set up this experiment, this story they wanted to tell, as opposed to letting the characters define the story. That's just my 2 cents on Last of Us Part 2. Okay, hang on. I need okay, sorry, let's get into it. It's been a bit. Can I use Notepad? Oh. No. Online notes. Can I just use... Because I need to keep track of these. So weird, okay, here, this works. Okay. So, okay, let's get to this. Probably Vernie, I just don't think I have it. I don't know. Maybe do I? Oh, there it is. Son of a bitch. Well, there we go. Where'd it go? Okay. All right, so let's get these characters. We have Joel, Ellie. Actually, no, let me do it in order. Joel, Sarah, Tommy. I'm just kind of going through my head in the story of the characters who kind of like how they show up in the order of the story. Tommy, Tess, Robert, Marlene, Ellie, Bill, Frank. No, I'm kidding. Henry, Sam, Maria, David, and I think that's it, right? Is that all the major ones? I zoom in on this shit? Yeah. Let me zoom in on this shit. Come on. Come in. Is it big enough for you guys? Oh, yeah, Jerry Anderson. Oh, Riley, shit. Well, is Riley going to be in the adaptation? I wonder if they're going to put Riley in the adaptation. They'll probably add some footage of her. Again, I'm glad that Left Behind wasn't part of the game. I don't know. Jerry Anderson, I think, is Abby's dad's name. And then we'll put Riley. I think that is it, right? In terms of like major characters. Like we'll stick with the major ones. Let's not do anything too crazy. Make it big. Make it bigger. All right. Abby Armstrong. No, the best thing was in the game is like the whole thing about Abby being jacked, and then her nickname is Abs, and I was just like, come on, that's not fair. Oh, I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima yet. Oh yeah, Abby's backpack. And ready? Abby's backpack is gonna be Dora's backpack. Yeah, this fucker right here. It's Abby's backpack. Abby's gonna curb stomp Dora and steal her backpack. Is that my backpack? And then like Dora's like booking it, and then Abby just grabs Boots and just like twists his neck. What about the dog, Ellie Murs? Are the homeward bound dogs still alive? No, probably not. What about those? What about the dogs from that Snow Husk movie? What's it? The Cuba Gooding Jr. one? Snow Dogs. Oh, it's just called Snow Dogs. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, Jay. It's like the game is basically damn bleeders. Yeah, you should make a new one of Abby just like kicking the shit out of Dora for her backpack. I do like the one you made though. Okay. So I've seen a lot of people say Nikolai for Joel. I don't see it. A lot of people see it. I don't see it. Like a little bit, I guess. Well, that's old Joel. But that just, I don't know. It just doesn't, I don't. To cast Joel's actor who doesn't have a beard, they have to give him the beard. So Hugh Jackman was a big one for a while. Let's see if we, and especially if you've seen Prisoners. Yeah, it was him in Prisoners. See, Vernie. No, Vernie, they have to do that because the actor will have a contractual obligation to keep his beard, or no, to be clean shaven, and so they have to. I've heard Hugh Jackman. I've heard Josh Brolin. He's got the voice down. Let's see. Hang on. Is Llewellyn Moss? Llewellyn. Okay. Wow. I could see Josh Brolin. I think Josh Brolin would do good. Even though I was not a fan of his old boy performance. But that wasn't his fault. Oh yeah, I've heard Gerard Butler. I don't think Gerard Butler sits well. So my big one was Dylan McDermott. I don't know if you guys know him. Dylan, I saw Dylan. I like Dylan McDermott for Joel. Not just because they look very similar. But if you guys have seen, Dylan McDermott was in Perks of Being a Wallflower. He was in Perks of Being a Wallflower. Oh, dude, Mads as Joel. That'd be tight. um, Zachary Quinto. I don't think he's old enough. Nice. See, the thing about Joel is I feel like I think it was like a purposeful design decision. Joel in the who's Billy Burke? Heisenberg, who? Dylan McDermott. Billy Burke. I don't think he would fit as Joel. No. Wait, hang on. Let me see if I can get like a. Oh, Guy Pearce. That wouldn't work. That'd be kind of cool though. I like Guy Pearce. Let me see if I can find one. I'm trying to find like a good Dylan McDermott. Vince Vaughn. Christopher, man, I'm not even like kidding. Like, actually, if Idris actually played Joel, that would be like I wouldn't give a shit. Actually, if they cast Idris Elba as Joel, I could give a fuck. That was the whole thing with the whole James Bond thing, like when they were talking about making like a black James Bond. Of all people, like I was actually kind of pumped for Idris Elba playing James Bond. That'd be kind of fucking tight. I think that the whole problem I have with like the black actors playing like traditionally white roles or like just mixing it up like that. The problem is that when it becomes Finn Wolfhard Finn Wolfhard is Joel. The problem is like when because it's kind of like the whole Ghostbusters thing. The problem is that I mean I have no like skin in the game when it comes to like switching. Like I don't give a shit about that. The problem is that like for example, like, let's say Idris was able to like play James Bond, he would only be remembered as the black James Bond, and no matter how good he was in the role, it would just kind of be communicated that way, and that's kind of a problem you're always going to run into. This guy from Hell on Wheels. I never watched Hell on Wheels. He's got like the face down though. I don't know who these people are that you guys are talking about. Anson Mount. Okay. Hang on, let me see if I can do this. Joel. Let's do Hugh. Okay, so let's vote on one for Joel. So I'm thinking Dylan McDermott, Hugh Jackman. Why are you an incognito? Because I don't want you seeing my shit, Steven. No, I just have a lot of bookmarks with all like my bank shit in there because I don't trust myself to remember to pay my bills. Josh Brolin. I have to look up Nikolai. Let's put him in here. Anson Mount. Bleeders, you said you wouldn't say. You're not wrong, Bernie. The other problem is that like there's a lot of kid actors, and I don't know anything about kid actors, so that's kind of weird. Like it's like if you're talking to like a kid actor, like, oh, I really enjoy your work. Like what? Fan cast Joel. I have to Coster Waldo. I have to copy his name because I cannot. All right, should we add any other names to this? I'll create the poll and then I'll post it in the chat. What's 177.013? I think that's good. Let's create the poll. All right, hang on. All right, I'm going to post the link in the chat. So that's the Joel link right there. Straw poll. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. I'm going to leave it, and then we'll come back to it. We'll discuss. I'll put the link in the chat, and then you guys vote, and then we'll come back to it as we're going on. Let's skip Sarah right now, just because I don't know. It can be anyone. Let's do Tommy, though. I want to do Tommy. My choice for Tommy was... oh, my God. I can't even remember his fucking name. Steven Dorff. I want him as Tommy. I think he'd be fantastic as Tommy. Steven Dorff, Tommy Miller. Let's see if I can find them together. Oh, I can't even find pictures of them together. Hang on. So let's take this one picture and then no, not the soccer player, for fuck's sake. Hang on. And where's Steven Dorff? Did it work? Oh, yeah, there it is. Like, y'all feeling this? I like this. Ah, shit. Steven Dorff is Tommy. I can't really think of other actors for Tommy, so I need more. I need more examples, but I like this. Steven for Tommy. So, Collinator, welcome back. I mean, I know Tommy is a little bit... What do I want to say? Oh, thanks, Bernie. I'll look into that. So I was having trouble. I mean, this is who I saw for Tommy. Do we have any other options for Tommy? Or do you think people would play him better? I think Steven Dorff would be fantastic for Tommy. I'm going to save our file of this, and then we're going to take bets on whoever the fucking win. Who's Anthony Starr? Let's see. Anthony Starr. Oh, yeah, I have a Banana Republic credit card. Suck it, bitches. The Rock. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Anthony Starr. Oh. Okay, yeah. Anthony Starr. He would work. Oh, he actually does look like him, actually. Oh, wow. I didn't realize how much they actually resemble one another. Shit. Okay, yeah. You know why? Actually, you know what? Hey, let's do this, because I almost wonder if Steven Dorff would be better for Bill. We'll get to that in a second. Anthony Starr. Christian Slater? Okay. I like Christian Slater. Oh, Brad Pitt from World War Z? Yeah, he does actually look like... He does actually look like Tommy. Christian Slater I like as Tommy, too. That would work. Oh, yeah, wow. Brad Pitt as... Tommy. The only problem is it's Brad Pitt. I don't think he Heath is. I don't think Heath would have worked as Tommy anyway. John Hamm. Yeah, I agree he'd be good, but I just don't know where we put him. Who's Zachary Levi? Is Tommy? I don't think so. What's he in? Who is Zachary Levi in? Oh, he's Shazam. Yeah, I think Dorf is better for Bill. I think you got. Hang on, let me just pull up. So that's Steven, and then look at Bill, Last of Us. I think Steven Dorff actually would be better for Bill. Oh, hang on. No. Yeah. Right? I think Steven would be good as Bill. I like that. Okay. So here, let's do this. Straw poll. Make poll. I forgot what I did. No, not that, dumbass. All right. So it's to Tommy. All right, let's do I'll put Steven Dorff. I kind of want him for Bill, but we'll just put him in there for now. Christian Slater. Oh shit, no, damn it. Fuck. Tommy, Christian Slater, John Goodman. I don't know. I think he's too like. Yeah, you're right, Heisenberg. The guy who plays Bill, like the mocap actor, is actually very awesome. Christian Slater. Let's put Steven Dorff, and then we'll see. But we may just pick the mocap actor. Who else? Anthony Starr. Yeah, let's put Anthony Starr. So we're trying to figure out, Steven. Oh, who's the mocap actor? Here, let me show you. Actually, I'll show you in a second when we get to Bill. Who else for? Let's just put Brad Pitt. Why not? And I'll put John Goodman. I don't think John Goodman would work, but we'll just put him. Who's Doug Walker for who? For Bill? Fucking shit, Chris M. You son of a bitch. I didn't know who that was. And it just hit me. All right. This is the Tommy poll. Okay. Yeah, let's do it. All right. Tommy straw poll coming at you. And let me get my notes page. All right. All right. So next up is Tess. Let's do Tess. For Tess, Julia Roberts? No. No. Julia Roberts? How about no? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't hit enter for the link. The Tommy link just got put up. Fuck, shit. Oh, yeah, actually, you're right, Steven. I actually like her, too. Wait, no, that's not who I thought it was. For Tess? She's too, like, pretty. Well, I guess Tess did kind of look a bit like... Oh, Christopher John Goodman for Bill. Okay, well, probably people won't pick him then. No, not really. I don't think so. She's too like. Oh, that's the actress who played her in the game. Yeah, I don't think that's. Still though, I don't think it fits in terms of like looks. You know who I thought you said though? Anne Wesley and Hesh. Oh shit! Hang on. No, it's not actually a good picture of her. Hang on. Or not a good like. picture to put side by side. Can we see her? Is it maybe like there's one of her is brunette? Is Anne Hesh never a brunette? I thought I saw her as a brunette. I thought she has been a brunette at one point or another. But Anne Hesh for Tess? Who's Erica Sarah? Erica Sarah for Tess? Who is this? Again, I think she just looks too young. Or just too pretty. Well, that one may be better. That's Tess. Okay, yeah. All right. Amy Schumer. No, but you know who? Oh, yeah. No, of course. That's who I was thinking of. Carrie Ann Moss is Tess. Trinity. I think Carrie Ann Moss would be fucking kick ass. I think she fits the. Just based on what I've seen her in, I think she would fit it. Yeah, I like Carrie Ann Moss's Tess. That's kind of. I think actually someone had mentioned that. I think there's actually an article. Hang on. Yeah. I like her as Tess. I'll still pull up the poll, but I wonder if I think she's really good for Tess, I think. Okay, I think we got enough. Here, let's do it. Make poll. Tess, Carrie Ann Moss. I'll put Anne Hesh. Erica Sarah. Yeah, I honestly think Carrie Ann Moss would be perfect. Who else? Amy Schumer. I fucking hope she doesn't win. You fucking trolls. Anne Wesching. And Anne Wesching was the mocap actress. Game actress. Let's put that. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I mean, I think Carrie Ann is fantastic for that role, but we'll see. All right. Tess coming at you. Tess coming at you. Robert, we know who Robert's being cast as. I mean, come on. This is like stupid. When this game came out, I low key thought that he was the mocap actor. I was like, there's no way he's not. He fucking looked exactly like him. And like the personality fits too. I think this is give me someone say something different if you think, but I think Robert should be Bron. I mean, look at that shit. I literally thought when I played the game that he was like the mocap actor or something, or like they used his likeness or something. I don't know, but like I was like, holy shit, that looks exactly like Bron. All right, so I think I'm gonna make the executive decision. Not Bros. The what? That was Bros. Yeah, Bros. Let's do Bros. Who's Robert Kepper? Oh, Charlotte coming in with the zinger. Ooh, I remember him in Prison Break as Robert. Yeah, I mean it doesn't look as much like him, but yeah, that's actually really good. I'll do a poll. Let's do a poll between Braun and Heisenberg. Yeah, actually, you know what? He would probably be better for David. However, there's another actor I like for David. But we'll get to that. But no, actually, I like the suggestion, Charlotte. I'm going to save him for David though, because I think he would be a much better David. Jerome Flynn. Okay, let's just do it. We got our first. All right. Marlene. All right, so we got our Robert. We have our Robert. Let's do Marlene. No, not who the fuck is this? Damn it. Okay, here's Marlene. So here's Marlene. So originally I did a Twitter thing. I like Regina King for Marlene. Oh, Zoe Saldana. Okay. That would work. Let me get like a good picture of her. So we got Regina King, Zoe Saldana, Halle Berry. Yeah, I haven't seen Halle. Oh, Halle Berry would work. I haven't seen Halle Berry in a while. She had one where she has darker hair. I don't know who that is, Robinson, but I'm gonna look. It's nice, but I'm gonna look it up. Oh, yeah, okay. Jada Pinkett Smith. Ooh, yeah, that would work too. Ooh, actually, yeah. Who's Tamara Taylor? Okay, yeah. Let's do. All right, so hang on. Oh, I didn't get a good one of Halle. Hang on. Rihanna. Let me look up Halle Berry. I couldn't like find a good one. Okay, here we go. All right, so we have so for Marlene we have Regina King, Zoe Saldana. I think Zoe might be a little bit too young, or too like hot, or not hot. I mean, I shouldn't say hot, but just like younger looking. I don't know. Is this Cynthia? I actually like Jada. Jada actually works. Oh, you know who I was a big one on was I was big for Gabrielle Union for Marlene. I'm trying to just think of I'm trying to find a comparable picture. Like, look serious. Beyonce. Beyonce wouldn't be the worst choice. Let's just put it in for good measure. Rosario Dawson. Shit, yeah. There's so many fucking good ones from Marlene. Shit. Oh, for Marlene's death. Rosario Dawson would be good. Shit. Oh my god, there's so many good ones for Marlene. Shit. All right, I think we have enough. We have to make the poll. All right, remind me in chat of who we did. Come on, motherfucker. I literally just wired my internet yesterday, and it's still fucking with me. Okay, hang on. Sorry, I'm moving my Bloody Mary. I know. There's like so many good actresses for Marlene. Regina King. Jada. Jada Pinkett Smith. Make sure when you're voting, make sure to look up these people if you don't know who they are. Gabrielle Union. Zoe Saldana. Apologies. Apologies if I'm spelling everyone's name wrong. I just don't have the time to go back. I'm going to copy that nice because I don't want to type that out. Rosario Dawson. Who else do we have? I got Regina. I got Zoe. I got Jada. Tamara Taylor. Tell me what to do, Joshua. I'll do whatever I want. Hallie. I got Harry. I got Gabrielle. Yep. Let's put in Beyonce just for fun. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Beyonce. I don't know how the Beehive would be upset about how Marlene ends up. And then I got her, right? Cynthia? Yeah, okay. Okay. I like this. This is a stacked field, dude. All these chicks would kill it. All right, that's great. Justin Theroux. I don't know. I love him, but I don't know if he'd be a good Joel. Marlene. All right, Bill time. Let's go. Let's go. Last of Us. Let me get a good picture of Bill. Hang on. All right, so that's Bill. Jimmy Fallon. Ooh. Okay. Josh McDermott is Bill. I wouldn't hate that. Danny McBride is Bill. I don't know if that. I mean, as much as I'd love it, I don't think it would. It just wouldn't work. Let's put him in there just in case. I'm just gonna put him in just in case. Actually, I think Danny McBride did pretty well in Alien Covenant, didn't he? I heard that movie sucked, but I heard he did actually pretty well. Oh, I lost him. Hang on. Danny DeVito. John Good. John Goodman, actually, now that I'm thinking of it, he was good in 10 Cloverfield as Bill. That's a weird mixture of him, but all right. Oh, here we go. That's a good one. Oh, the Stranger Things. David Harbour. I don't know for Bill. Well, as Bill. David Harbour. Hang on. Yeah, that's what David Harbour was saying it. Eldon Hansen. Who's Eldon Hansen? Oh yeah, hang on. So I want to get the mocap actor in here because he actually was really fan. I mean, ooh. I mean, look at that. He's the actual. He was the mocap actor for Bill, so it's kind of like. It's almost like a given. I don't know. Got him. Oh, hang on. And I wanted. No, I want Steven Dorff. God damn it. There it is. That's the one I was looking for. Ow. All right, so I think we might have enough for Bill. We got Eugene Porter, Steven Dorff, Dan McBride, John Goodman, David Harbour. He might work. Let me get. Hang on. Who's Toby Turner? Oh, fucking shit. Son of a bitch. Oh, Travis from GTA 5. I don't know. I don't think that would work. Okay, I think we have enough. Hang on. All right, let's do David Harbour. Make sure to remind me of who we're choosing. Who else? W. Earl Brown. I think he might take the cake. Steven Dorff. I think again I'm spelling so many people's names wrong. Eugene Porter. Who else do we have? Dan McBride. That's a fun one. Steven Dorff, Eugene Porter, Dan McBride, John Goodman, David Harbour. Okay, I think that's good. I think that's a solid bill. Bill coming at you. Okay, so for Henry, it may be an executive decision here because I'll show you in a second. Oh, sorry, TD. God damn it. Well, I already put the poll through, so just Google it and you'll find what he looks like. Yeah, if you're talking about who I think you're talking about, Steven. Yeah, Harold would be good, Henry. However, if you look at the Last of Us, if you actually look at the mocap actor for Henry, where is he? Brand Scott is the mocap actor for Henry. He's really good. I know. Donald Glover actually would be kind of cool. Um, let's pick this one. Let me open up Henry. Hang on. Let me get a good picture of him. There we go. Oh, great. Leslie David Baker. Who's that? Stanley from Office. You out my? Are you out your mind? Harold might be a bit too old for Henry. You know who I thought was shit? What's his name? Fuck. Oh my god, I can't even think. Oh. I thought Michael B. Jordan would be good for Henry. Hey, Henry. No, save the image, damn it. Yusuf Gatewood, who's that? Oh. Chadwick Boseman? I keep forgetting that Chadwick Boseman doesn't have the African accent. Like, I just assume he does. Just because of Black Panther. Or in that SNL sketch. Okay, so we got Henry. We got Harold. This is the actual mocap actor. He's really good. Brand Scott. Chadwick, Donald Glover, Michael B. Jordan, Yusuf Gatewood. Yeah, hang on. I meant to, but I copied the wrong name. Whoa, too big. So we got Harold, Brandon, Chadwick, Donald, Michael, and Yusuf. Okay, I like that. That's a good mix-up. Let's do it. Henry, Donald Glover. Oh, Daniel Kaluuya would be good too. Ooh, that actually would be good. Hang on, let me put all of them in there. Again, I cannot spell names for the like of me. Chadwick Boseman. Brandon Scott. I mean, I would pick him just because he's yeah, I feel like this group would be very good though. Maybe not Chadwick. I don't know. I think most of these guys would do well. Yeah, that's what I thought about Harold. I think he's too old. We'll just put him in there for now. I keep thinking of him in Lost. And let's do Daniel Kaluuya too. Oh, jeez, I'm sorry. I spelled his name out like a motherfucker. Daniel Kaluuya would work too. Someone posted his name. I need to take it because I could not spell it out. I think this is a good group. Oh yeah, I'm moving Mateen. Ooh, he would be good. Shit. There's so many good ones. Hang on. He would be a good Henry. Okay, let's put him in there too. Damn, there's so many good ones. Yeah, yeah, I think he could. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. He was. I mean, he. I mean, I didn't like. I mean, you guys know how I felt about Watchmen, but he was excellent in it. All right, let's do Henry. That's a big. That's a stacked field. Maria. Okay. Obama. Let's go. Did I put Donald Glover in the poll twice? Shit. Well, I didn't miss anyone, did I? Everyone picked the top. Hang on. Crap. Oh. If you pick Donald Glover, pick the top one. Do not pick the middle Donald Glover. I'm too lazy to do another one, but pick the top Donald Glover and not the middle Donald Glover. I guess it doesn't matter which one you pick. They'll all go to this. I'll just add them up at the end. Okay, so let's do Maria. Charlize Theron? Okay. I'm trying to find like a good photo. I've kind of like run down. I like Charlize, Jodie Comer. I think Jodie might be just a little too young. She kind of looks more mature. Oh no, Jodie's. I like Jodie. Oh, actually, I didn't realize. Yeah, Jodie actually works well. Who's the Maria mocap actress? I don't know her name. Ashley Scott. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Ashley Scott works. Hang on. I gotta. Who's Kim Dickens? I'll probably recognize her as soon as I Google her. Oh, Kim Dickens would be good. From Gone Girl. That's why I know her from. Yeah, I like Kim Dickens. Who's Paula Malcolmson? Ooh, okay. Paula Malcolmson would work. Yeah, who's Katie Sackhoff? Oh, what is she? What is she? I don't know what she's in or what she's from, but she would work. Okay. Oh, Trem Lost. She's in Lost. I will submit this to HBO when we're done. Loki. Oh, I thought Mate McKinnon was someone else. Kate McKinnon. I don't think that would work. She's just. I think it would be difficult to take her seriously in a dramatic role. She looks like her. Scarlett Johansson. I don't know. That's not a good picture of her. In terms of, she looks great in terms of Maria. Yeah, it's not better. I don't know about Scarlett. Ariel Kebble. What? Yeah, okay. I was just thinking her from fucking John Tucker Must Die, and I was like, I don't know. Oh, Elizabeth Shue would be good. Elizabeth Shue would be good. Sorry. I like Elizabeth Shue, actually. That actually works. Wait, where'd it go? I just had it. Oh. Oh, bitch. She was also in The Boys, wasn't she? Yeah. I had such a crush on her in Karate Kid. I still have a crush on her. Shit. Motherfucker. Get in there. Oh, and Rosamund. Yeah, Rosamund. Ah, shit. There's so many. God damn. I actually thought it wasn't going to be this difficult. There's actually a lot of really good ones. Pike is booked already? For what? Well, I mean, we're just doing it for fun. All right, hang on. We got too many here. We got a lot. All right, so let's do this. I got to go through all these. Maria, Rosamund Pike. Oh, Pike is doing Wheel of Time, isn't she? Elizabeth Shue. Charlize Theron. Jodie Comer. Did not spell that right. Ashley Scott. I think she's the actual game actress. Kim Dickens. Kim Dickens will be great. I actually like Kim Dickens for this. Is that Paula? I forgot her name. Yes, it's Paula Mackinson. I don't think I spelled that right. Who's this again? Is that Katie? Katie Sackhoff. Let's put her in there. Who's this? Who am I looking at right now on the screen? Ariel Kebble. I like her. Yeah, actually, I didn't think I would, but it worked out. I saw her in Sackhoff on the screen. Okay, good. Okay, that's good. That's a sack field, too. Shit. All right. Maria coming at you. Maria coming at you. We can do. I guess we can do the kid actors. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know that many kid actors. I feel like it would be weird if you just had like a bunch. Oh, they like this person's work. I'm like, what? I sent the Maria one. Yes. Okay. Who's up next? All right. Let's do David. Here we go. Caitlin Dever. I feel like is that the girl from Booksmart? I feel like she's too old. That's the thing. It's like Ellie's supposed to be like what 14, and so like that's what's hard. Yeah. So John Hawkes was the one I originally thought of for David, but someone else put who's I forget who. John Hawkes would be great. Ooh, Brad Dourif. Okay, I would like Brad Dourif. Ben Mendelsohn's great. Let's get a better one of Ben. Is there one of Ben Mendelsohn with mustache? That's a better one. Willem Dafoe. I would love to see Willem in that. That'd be tight. But who was the guy from the bad guy from Prison Break characters? Shit. Someone mentioned him earlier. Robert Knapp. That's it. No, who the fuck is that? Oh, Knepper. Like, who the fuck is that? Can we get one of his beard? Oh, I can't find one of him with a full beard. Close enough. Teabag, that was it. Adrian Brody, I don't know. Well, maybe. I mean, he's a pretty good actor. Anyone with him with a beard. He might be lookable to it. I mean, I know these are like older pictures. Then again, I feel like Adrian Brody I haven't seen him in anything. Yeah, you're right, Chris. Willem Dafoe and I feel like it would make him very as much more horrifying as he could be. Brad Dourif. Brad might be a little bit too old now. Okay, we might be good. We have John Hawkes, Ben Mendelsohn, Willem Dafoe, Robert Kepper, Adrian Brody, and Brad Dourif. I think that's good. Alfie Allen. Maybe in like 15 years. What was I just gonna say? Make poll. David. Will Dafoe, John Hawkes, Adrian Brody. Oh, I haven't seen Peaky Blinders. I've heard good things. Brad Dourif, Robert Knepper. Who am I missing? I got John Hawkes, Ben Mendelsohn. I feel like I didn't spell that right. Willem Dafoe, yep. Kepper got him. Adrian Brody I got, yep. And Brad Dourif. Okay, I like that. Michael Rooker, yeah, let's put him in too. Oh, he's let me find a better one of him. Michael Rooker. Oh, he's too old for that. Michael Rooker. Let's put Michael Rooker in there. Sorry, I'm sitting on my ass all day. David. On the phone, John Hawkes. Okay, I like that. Ewan McGregor, I don't think would work. He's he's old enough, but I don't think he's like as intimidating. I'm still kind of sold on Willem Dafoe, not to like influence the vote, but that'd be kind of cool. All right, David, coming at you. All right, so that's everyone. All the major adult characters. What I'm gonna do is after I get the whole thing, yeah, actually. Older Owen. No, he did Calabuto. That's it's almost kind of like a flaw in a way. They actually did look, now that you mention it, like, wow, they actually did look really much alike. My girlfriend just sent me a picture of her drinking a Bloody Mary. Oh my God. It's like a Bloody Mary with a bacon strip and 2 pieces of shrimp. Oh my God. I need to go get there's a McDonald's on the street. Dread. Son of a bitch, we're almost done. All right, we need to vote. Should we? And I don't know what to do with the kid actors because I don't know kid actors. Like, I don't have a bunch of like kid actors, like 13-year-old actresses who I can pull from. Jesse Eisenberg is David. Oh, Quinzave Walls. Oh yeah, the girl from Beast of Southern Wild. But how old is she now? That's the only thing. She's 16. Yeah, she'd be a good Riley. Yeah, she'd be a good Riley. I like her. Quinzave Walls. Yeah, 16. How old is Riley supposed to be? 14. That works. That's fine. And again, we can age them up just a little bit. That's fine. Because that would make them, what, 15? Raven from That's So Raven. I like Quinzave. Does anyone have any objections to Quinzave Wallace as Riley? Oh, the kid from Stranger Things. Yeah. Quinzave Wallace is that works. I like that. Let's do Quinzave. I'm on a executive decision. Yeah, who's the Stranger Kids thing? What's his name? No, not. What's the kid's name in the show? Where is he? What the? Wow, good one, Google. Holy shit. Is it Dustin? Lucas? Oh, it's Lucas, right? All right, don't bring up his picture. That's fine too, assholes. Yeah, you'd be a good Sam. How old is he? Oh, he's 18. God damn it. See, this is the problem. Like all the kids we know of, they're like by this time they're like older. Caleb's 18. I don't think that would work. Yeah. Like when he was a kid it would work, but not as much when he's older. That's the thing, Calabudo. It's like all the kids are like they already hit puberty and now it's like okay. I kind of think we should save maybe even Quinzave. I think for the kid actors, I think they should all be newbies. Because for a lot of people, they want Ellie to be, yeah, I know Heisenberg. It's kind of how I feel Heisenberg. Is just like searching a bunch of kid actors. Who's the girl from Unbelievable? A lot of people wanted her, Caitlin Dever. The problem is that she's 23 years old. Like, you could not pass her off as a 14-year-old Ellie. Like, back when she was, like, a kid, yeah. But, like, not now. That's the thing a lot of people, like, do is they, like, say, like, oh, that character. But like, that was a character from, like, a show that you liked 10 years ago. I don't know. Is everyone okay if I skip the kid actors? Because I kind of feel weird. I kind of like that, too, Kale. I kind of like, especially when it comes to kid actors. Yeah, Jay. No, I think he got scaled up. He's 16 in the book, but I think they scaled him up to like 18 or 20 or something. Dixie D'Amelio. Who the fuck is that? What the fuck? God damn it. Who? Chris M. Yeah, as Ellie, that would work. Right? Yeah, totally. Yeah, as long if you guys are cool with me, I kind of go along with Kale's point. When it comes to like brand new roles like that, I think it'd be better. I kind of like having like new kid actors. I think that works. Natalie Ann, she's 21. For Sarah, that's gonna be Sarah. Okay. Who said that? Knives. Yeah, that's Sarah. Great. Okay. Fucking Knives. All right, let's get rid of the kid actors. And I think they should all be newbies. I kind of like that. Even for like a character like Sarah. Let's just skip them. Okay. Are the straw polls done? Ellen Page is Ellie. Okay. All right, everyone. Are we doing part 2? No, I don't give a shit about part 2. We can do that another time. But no, I don't ever want part 2 to be. Yeah, they'll. Yeah, actually, you know what, Kabua? They can do the fucking Irishman thing. Okay, so I think we got it. So let's do it. Abby's backpack. We've already decided it's going to be. Nice. Gwendolyn Christie is the Scar who took Abby's backpack. I'd be down for that. Wait, who's Travis Fimmel? Al Pacino was Joel. Hooah! Travis Fimmel as Joel? I don't think so. Did you want him as Joel? I don't think so. Oh, the Vikings guy. He looks a little too young. That's the whole thing about Joel, is that I feel like he was Kristen Stewart for Abby wouldn't be that bad. She'd have to get like jacked as fuck though. Who's Margaret Jorn? You fuckers. Hang on. Let's pull up a side by side. Let's see if it works, people, right? Let's see if it works. Is it working? Yeah. I could see that. I could see this. Yeah. Totes malotes. Okay, here. Let me see if I can do this. Hang on. I'm going to post all the links one more time. I can't enter. Yeah, it's not going to work. Hang on. I'm going to post all the links one more time individually. Ready, watch. All right, so there's Joel. There's Tommy. Everyone, if you haven't voted yet, make sure you vote. I'm gonna give like 5 minutes, and then we'll look, and then we'll take the polls. There's Tess. Robert, we've already decided is Jerome Flynn. Marlene. Bill. Oh, Laura Bailey? Yeah, Laura Bailey's hot as fuck. Henry, Maria, and David. All right, make sure you vote. Make sure you vote, because I'm going to look them up in a second. I forgot all the characters. I literally thought. Yeah, he's in there, McFarlane. He's in there. He might actually win. I like Stephen Dorff, but who's Josh Holloway? Is Josh Holloway for Tommy? For Tommy, I think he'd work better for Tommy. Tommy always kind of struck me as more of like a softer character, especially in part 1. As opposed to like Joel being like very like rough and tough. Oh yeah, someone actually put it together. Yeah, that would actually be pretty cool. Nice. Several shows. So my biggest gripe with shows. So I'm someone who's very like what's the word? If you're just tuning in, by the way, these are the links for the straw polls for the characters, so make sure to do that. we've already picked Robert because that is Braun. Jerome Flynn, who's going to play Ish. Oh yeah, who's going to play Seth in The Last of Us Part 2, Bigot Sandwich Maker. So the only problem, Knives, is that when it comes to shows I review, is that I can only really get invested in them when they're like things I'm passionate about. So that's why I did Last of Us. That's why I did Watchmen. The only thing that kind of pisses me off about a lot of YouTube like criticism is that people are reviewing shit that they literally knew going into it that they weren't going to like. Like, I can make fun of Kissing Booth, the movie, you know, but it's just like, or like, I mean, this is even kind of a problem I have with like the EFAP thing, is like when they're talking about like Supergirl and shit. It's like, why are you even talking about this? Like Supergirl's like, you know it's gonna be shit. I think Thoros Unlimited was a YouTuber I was following for a bit, and he did a lot of like Supergirl critiquing. But it was just stupid because it's like, you know it's gonna be bad. Like, what are you critiquing? You're just yelling for yourself. It's like, okay. Let's give it. I'm gonna give it 5 minutes. Ask any questions you like if you have for me, whatever. And then I'll take the polls. Heisenberg. Yeah, just a disclaimer. If you actually, so my Last of Us 2 essay came out to be about 2,000 words. Lena Headey would have been good for Tess. Yeah, but no, she would have been good. Lena Headey would have been good for Tess, but I think Carrie Ann Moss is kind of a given for that one, but we'll see. You guys will find it's really odd. I spend so my Last of Us 2 script right now is about 2,000 words. Yeah, you're right, Dread, probably. I think maybe not as much as EFAP. I think there's other YouTubers who like just like do full breakdowns, and I'm like, why are you like critiquing a show you don't even like or have any passion about? Well, no, yeah, but TD, Tess gets to shoot Jerome. Yeah, but Tess gets to shoot Robert. So that'd be great. if Jerome would be cool with it, Lena would love to. Just dome him. So you guys are gonna be very surprised in my Last of Us 2 review, how charitable and how much I actually like about the game. There's so much good things in the game, and there's so many good sequences and good individual things about it. It's just a matter of how it all works together. So this is an example of, and this is kind of why it's hard for me to get into like a new TV show. Or let me take, for example, Game of Thrones. I would argue that Game of Thrones is one of the worst shows of all time. And now some may say, well, come on, that's not fair. I mean, like, it had good production quality. The first 4 seasons were... The first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones are phenomenal, and then it kind of goes downhill, and then the last season. The problem I have with that is that it's like, let's take a show like Dexter. Dexter is a show where the first 4 seasons are like fantastic. Season 4 is brilliant, and then it really goes downhill from there for Dexter. However, if you watch Dexter, you can watch up until you could watch the end of season 4 of Dexter and call it a day. Like the ending of season 4 would have been a fantastic series finale. I don't know if you guys have seen the show, but if you haven't, I would almost recommend just watching up until the end of season 4. Exactly, Humble. That was the Trinity Killer with season 4. The season 4 finale is phenomenal, and the ending of it is almost, I think, would have been made for a perfect series finale. But I can tell someone, hey, yeah, watch Dexter, but only watch the first 4 seasons, right? Even like Breaking Bad, you could watch the first 4 seasons of Breaking Bad. Like, if you guys have seen my video on it with The Sopranos, you know I'm not the biggest fan of season 5 of Breaking Bad. I would argue that you could watch up until the end of season 4 of Breaking Bad, and it would still be and that would serve as a perfect series finale. The problem is with Game of Thrones is you cannot do that. I can't say, hey, Game of Thrones is great, but just watch until the end of season 4. But exactly, Steven. Thank you. When it comes to a show, well, actually, hang on, Steven. What I mean by that is like there are some shows that are very episodic. So in that case, I can say, hey, just don't watch season 2. I could like The Office. Season 1 kind of sucks of The Office. I would tell most people just skip it. Just go to season 2 because missing season 1 isn't going to do anything. It's not. You're not missing anything. But with Game of Thrones, you can't do that because it's constructed as a singular story. Imagine recommending a book to someone and saying, "Hey, this book is 25 chapters. The first 18 chapters are fantastic. The best thing you've ever written. The best thing you've ever read in your life. But the last 7 chapters are the worst shit in the history of literary analysis or whatever." That's what I'm talking about. You can't. When people say this, like, oh well, like Game of Thrones, oh well, the first 4 seasons are great. Who gives a shit? So what? It's the first half of a full story. Would you ever tell someone, hey, this movie is great, this movie's okay, the first half is excellent, but the second half is utter dog shit? Well, okay, well, I'm not going to watch that movie then. Why would I spend time getting myself invested in something if I know it's going to be bad? And that's the whole thing with Game of Thrones, was the fact that it ended so poorly that you almost can't even enjoy seasons 1 through 4. Because the whole reason seasons 1 through 4 work is because they're setting up this, like, they're setting all these pieces up for this big finale. And then it just doesn't deliver, or it becomes terrible. It's like literally, like that's why Game of Thrones is like, exactly nice. You can't, because Game of Thrones, you can't skip it. You can't just end at season 4. Or even you have to, like, it's a full story. And so you have to view it as a full story. One of the big things that I saw with a lot of people who were kind of praising The Last of Us Part 2 was they were saying like, oh, well, there were some really bad parts, but there were some really good parts. And I'm like, I agree. There are some incredible sequences in The Last of Us Part 2. There are some individual sequences that I would argue in Last of Us Part 2 that I would argue surpass anything in Part 1. But Part 1... While I would argue that the majority of the sequences in Part 1, the individual parts, are all maybe mediocre to great, they all form together into a coherent story that is far greater than the sum of its parts. The Last of Us Part 2 is The Last of Us Part 2 may be the quintessential example of a piece of media that is significantly worse than the sum of its parts. Because you have the individual sequences that are fantastic, but they do not work together in terms of the themes and the intentions of the writers in any way, shape, or form. Wait, Bleeders, what sequences are we talking about for Last of Us Part 2? I think Ellie's entire arc is fantastic. I think that her kind of devolving into this very selfish individual in Part 2 is fantastic. Like, you guys saw my playthrough of it as Ellie's segment went on and the Joel flashbacks and those were being worked in. It all kind of fell into place. I actually think Ellie's segment is fantastic in itself. But then even if you look at Abby's segment, Abby Day 1's really boring. Abby Day 2 is a lot of fun with the Rat King. That's a blast. I think Abby Day 3, the Seraphite Island, might be the single best sequence. Wait, Dread, selfish? Ellie? Oh my god, Ellie? Absolutely. Ellie becomes a selfish bitch by the end of the game. Absolutely. Ellie is the most selfish motherfucker in the game but once you get to the epilogue, after she leaves Dina, Ellie leaves Dina and JJ at the farm alone to go after Abby again. She says to Dina, "Hey, I'm not like you, Dina." Like, fuck you, Ellie. Dina lost Jesse. She lost a lot of people, but Dina understands that it just because she is in pain, it does not give her the right to disregard those who count on her, mainly JJ. But the fact that Ellie prioritizes her own grief, agreed, Heisenberg. I think that's a highlight of the segment, the Abby and Lev sequences. Wait, what's not fair, J. Robbins? What's not fair? Ellie? Oh no, I think Ellie becomes a complete selfish bitch by the end of the game. It's understandable that she's letting her grief take hold of her. I understand her. I empathize with her, but I do not sympathize with Elliot in any way, shape, or form. By the end, like when she leaves Dina. But that's what I mean, Jay. That's what I'm like. She's let her grief consume her to such an extent. Dina sucks at the during Ellie's sequence. Dread, what is selfish about a character being tormented by the fact that her father never received justice for his murder? The fact that Ellie does not take into account that her quest for vengeance may bring the hammer back down upon Jackson. Jesse brings this up, and this is actually, I criticize the game for this, for bringing this up and not developing it. Jesse brings this up to Ellie. Hey, Ellie, we've come to Seattle. We've killed like dozens of WLF members, and we realize that their forces are like massive. The WLF is a huge army. What is going to stop them from rolling the fuck up to Jackson and wiping us out completely? And oh, really, Jay? If you wouldn't mind shooting me that, I'd like to read that. But Ellie doesn't seem to understand that her quest for revenge may result in Jackson being completely decimated. And she doesn't care. Or I shouldn't say she doesn't care. She's either so lost in her own grief that she doesn't realize it, or she's like purposefully ignoring it. When I say selfish, I don't necessarily mean like, greedy, yeah, get it for my benefit. I'm saying that Ellie isn't taking the necessary steps that she needs to in order to heal in a healthy way. Because it's not just about her. That's the thing, Jay. I don't know. It could be one or the other. Well, that's the thing, Dread, is the whole bullshit about Last of Us Part 2 is that Jesse brings up, like, hey, what if the WLF come back for us? And that is a very strong possibility. But, of course, by the end of Part 2, the WLF is, like, destroyed. So that's kind of stupid. But the point I'm making is that, like, at the end when Ellie leaves Dina and JJ, she is letting her own grief. There are people who count on her. That Jesse is dead because of Ellie. Now you could say Abby, whatever. We can get into that, but Ellie never really seems to like. Vulture. Ellie never seems to like. Come to the realization that like Jesse died because he came to help her on her quest for revenge. And it's just kind of weird. And then let's get this straight. Jesse comes to Seattle to help Ellie. Jesse ends up being killed. Ellie then creates a family with JJ, his son, and Dina. And then she leaves to go hunt down Abby again, which is just like, no, Ellie, you need to stay and be with Dina and JJ and help them through their grief. The problem is that Ellie prioritizes her own grief. It's a great examination of of how she's letting her grief make her into a selfish person, and it's understandable. That's the thing, and this is what I go over in the video. Fuck sympathy. Fuck liking a character. You can like or dislike a character, whatever. It's about, you just need to understand their actions. I don't care what you think of Joel doing what he did at the end of part 1. Whether you think that him saving Ellie was a betrayal or that, great, that's it, Kale. Kale salad. It's frustratingly human. Thank you. Perfectly said. I don't care how you feel about what Joel does at the end of part 1. Whether you think, oh, Jay, okay, good. That's if you have like a screenshot of that, could you send it to me in like Discord or like Twitter or something? Because that's part of one of my big gripes about the game is that Dina never really seems to call Ellie out on what she's doing. She does at the end. She does at the end when she's leaving for a second time. But Dina seems to like go along with Ellie's desire for revenge from the get-go. She's like, yeah, we're going to Seattle. Let's go. It's like a field trip. It's like, Dina, what are you doing? Like, shouldn't you be trying to help Ellie out of her grief? Like, wouldn't Dina try to convince Ellie to stay in Jackson? Because Dina lost her sister Talia. It's just, I feel like the dissolution of Dina and Ellie's relationship. Thank you, Mac. Perfectly said. Ellie is selfish because she is not considering how the repercussions of her actions will affect the people around her. Perfect. But no, sorry, just to go back. I don't care how you feel about like what Joel does at the end of part 1. Whether you think that him saving Ellie was a good thing or him doing it was a bad thing. It doesn't matter. Yeah, Knives. If you in the synagogue scene, she talks about her sister Talia. Exactly, Heisenberg. That's kind of what I go over. So sorry. Whether or not you like Joel at the end of part 1, I don't care, and the game doesn't care. The game simply asks you to understand why does Joel go back for Ellie at the end of part 1? Simple. He has the trauma of losing Sarah. He has, for the last 20 years, seen the horrible effects of humanity on the world and his own moral degradation as a result. This is what's so funny. So many people try to argue that Joel did the right thing at the end of part 1 because a vaccine. There is no way that a lot of people say that Joel did the right thing at the end of part 1 because there's no way that the Fireflies could have distributed the vaccine. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate it. There's no way that the Fireflies could have distributed the vaccine to help the people, so Joel did the right thing. That's not how that works. It's not like Joel, right before he killed all the Fireflies and saved Ellie, it's not like he was sitting there. It's like, I don't think this vaccine, it's not like Joel was like, I don't think this vaccine would be viable and I don't think it will save the world. That has nothing to do with Joel's decision. Joel doesn't give a shit. He might think the vaccine would work. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit about humanity. All he cares about is Ellie. So you have to judge characters by their decisions made with the information they have. That's basically it. So no, there's so much good in Last of Us 2, but it just doesn't work together. But that's the thing, Dread. That's possible too. Like maybe the Fireflies would have used the vaccine for nefarious purposes, but it's not like Joel gave a shit about that. It's not like Joel was like, ooh, you Fireflies might use the vaccine to hurt people and I have to save them. No. Well, that's the thing, Kalbudo. There are plenty of ways you can morally justify Joel's actions, or you can see, as a player, you can see Joel as a villain or hero at the end of the first game. The point is that the game doesn't give a shit. The game isn't trying to make Joel seem like a good person or a bad person. It's just asking you to understand why he's doing what he's doing. You can feel about that however you want, but whether you think Joel is a villain or hero at the end of game 1, everyone should say, I understand why he did that. As long as you can say that about a character, I understand why they did that thing they did, you're perfect. I don't agree with Thanos trying to kill half the universe. I understand why he wants to do what he does. That's empathy. Empathy is understanding your character. Sympathy is liking a character. They're feeling bad for a character. It's so fucking stupid. The problem with Abby is that I would actually argue by the end of Abby's segment, she is the game tries so hard to make you. The game tries so hard to make you like Abby, to sympathize with her, that in doing so, they actually make Abby harder to empathize with. Abby's character arc makes no fucking sense in part 2. It just doesn't. Why does she go back for... if someone could give me an answer, why does Abby go back for Yara and Lev? Because she had that dream? That's so... Like, what? She had a nightmare, and then she decides to leave everything that she's known behind in the course of 36 hours just to save them? Why? She risks her life like 15 times over the course of 2 days to save Yara and Lev just because she had a bad dream? Oh, she feels guilty because they saved her. Well, Joel saved her. Joel saved her life, and then Abby literally had... And again, I understand Joel killed her father. I understand that. But in the part 2, Joel saves her life. So this monster, Joel, who she's been building up in her head for years and years and years and years and years, as like this horrible monster who I need to kill. No, but Kabuto, she feels guilt for going overboard with Joel. When is that communicated? This is another argument I've heard, that she feels guilty about what she did to Joel. At no point is that communicated in whatsoever. At no point does it... That's the whole thing. If Abby had felt guilt about killing Joel because he saved her life, that would have been perfect. No, that's the thing, Yatin. If Abby was shown to like feel bad about killing Joel, or maybe like she realized that killing Joel, it doesn't end her PTSD. But again, where is that indicated? It is not blatant, but it's subtly shown. I would completely disagree. If you have evidence for that isn't just conjecture, I would completely disagree. At no point does it seem like Abby gives two shits about what she did to Joel. I don't think that Abby at any point is shown to feel guilty for Joel. It'd be interesting. You know how Ellie has her diary in part 2? If Abby had one, that would be interesting. Like if Abby was shown to feel bad about killing Joel because he saved her life, that would have worked brilliantly. But at no point is Abby shown to feel remorse. At no point... She continues to have dreams about her dad's murder? No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't, Kabuto. When? She has a dream. She has a dream of her dad dying, but that was shown when she killed Joel. So that didn't seem like... But what dreams are we talking about? When do we see her dream about something after that? We see her dad's death, but that happens when she kills Joel. And then she has the dream about Yara and Lev. When she wakes up in the stadium, that's not a bad dream. She just wakes up in the stadium. We don't see her having a bad dream. Hang on, let me look this up. There is only like 4 flashes to her finding her dad. What? Yeah, journal entries to Abby would have actually been interesting. Hang on, I'm going to look it up right now. I'm looking up Abby's entire segment. I don't think... That's the thing. I thought she did too, Jay. That she had another dream about her dad. I don't think she does. I'm fairly certain she does not. Let me just double check. But you can clearly see it does not bring her closure. Where? So I'm watching it right now. So I'm watching it right now. And right when Seattle Day 1 begins, here, let me bring it over. Hang on. So here I'm watching it right now. So this is entire sequence. I guess this is supposed to. That's the thing. I can't tell if this is a dream sequence or not. Like when it shows Abby's flashback, it there is no satisfaction on her face. But we don't see that in Seattle. We don't see this. You can read her face and say, "Oh, she must not have feel any better about it." But then and then she wakes up right here. Hang on. So this is when Seattle Day 1 starts. Seattle Day 1. And so you can see her doing this, but we don't see what she's dreaming about. I guess she must be dreaming about her dad dying. But then later she doesn't, like when she's talking about, and that's perfectly it, Hubble. That would be fine. Or Heisenberg, that would be fine if we saw that she was still having the nightmares, but I don't think that's communicated well enough. At no point during the Day 1 sequence do we see that like she's still dealing with grief over her father's death. I really think that it's some of you guys just really trying to like project something onto Abby to make it make sense. So yeah, this is where she is. This is her segment. And then the next dream she has. Yeah, but Kalbuda, that's for Yara and Lev. But the whole thing about Yara and Lev is the fact that they save her life, and so it seems like the main motivation for her going back to save them is because they saved her life. But this is destroyed by the fact that Joel saves her life, and she seems to have no feeling. She doesn't seem to show any guilt about killing him, even though he saved her life. That could have been brilliant if Abby had a second thoughts about killing him because she saved her life. What, Justin? SJW agenda politics. Why? Because he's trans? Why, Justin? I thought Lev was actually drawn very well. I felt like he was able to be. I think Lev was representation done very well, because him being trans didn't encapsulate his entire character. Yeah, but Kalbuda, this is just you projecting. This is us trying to put this is the thing, Kalbuda. Like, this is what I go over in the script. I know exactly what you're talking about, but this is all just projection. This is all just us trying to stretch and just take the script and just stretch it out to understand Abby. Like, oh, it has to make sense somehow. Yeah, but again, Kalbuda, that's at the end of the entire thing. Before that, we didn't understand why she went back for them. And again, this doesn't make any sense given the fact that if she is going back for Yara and Lev because they saved her, why didn't she show any remorse whatsoever after Joel saved her? And again, Joel killed her father, okay. But the fact that they ask us to believe that Abby would have her life saved by Joel, and then 10 minutes later would show no hesitation whatsoever about shooting, torturing, and killing Joel, and then try to set up the entire crux of her entire arc being that she would go back for Yara and Lev because they saved her. And again, I agree with you in that the pieces are all there. All the pieces are there. It would have been so simple to connect these dots, but it just didn't work. Yeah, but Justin, why? I don't understand. I don't know. I feel like it's like, I think he was a case of a trans character being done well, like where it didn't encapsulate his entire character and he didn't feel like a token. Um, I thought Lev's, as in terms of representation, was done really well. But Calbuto, we don't see that. We never see that at all. If they had showed that she felt guilt for killing Joel because he saved her life, that would have been brilliant. This is what I wrote from the entire video. All we would have had to see is if Abby was shown to feel guilty for killing Joel because he saved her, like this monster she's built up in her head for years, and the first thing he does is save her life, and then it kind of like it makes her question everything, and that is why she goes back for Yara and Lev. That would have been brilliant. There you go, Knives. There you go. Look at that. Abby in the car going back to Seattle, Manny and Owen cheering and celebrating Joel's death, Abby sitting silently with a single tear coming. Something as simple as that. We're talking a 10-second scene to communicate that. Everything else is just... Yeah, but Kabuto, again, we're stretching the script. We're literally trying to find a way where it works. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's not exactly subtle, Knives, but hey, it gets the job done. I do not want a 20-year-old smothered makeup acting like... What? Justin, what on earth are you talking about? Oh, I thought you were talking about Lev still. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's the thing. That's why we kind of decided we have to do the kids. Like, we kind of skip the kids. Like Ellie, Sam, Riley, we'll just have them be cast by no names. I like that because then it gives like a new child actor a shot, you know? Oh, I completely agree, Kabuto. I really think you're projecting. I hate to say, McFarlane. I really think that you're trying to find a way where it works. I really think that you're like taking what is all the pieces and putting them together for the game to form a picture that just isn't there. That's my contention. And that's the thing. It's like that's what's so frustrating about it is that all the positive reviews I've seen of the game, they are giving it so much charitability. They are giving it so much like I kind of went over this in my last stream, the quote unquote the well maybe defense. Well, maybe this. Well, maybe that. Well, maybe I can say that for literally anything. Characters can do whatever they want. No, it's not about being spoon-fed, Kabuto. It's a matter of giving us the details. Being spoon-fed is, for example, like a character coming out and saying, I feel guilty for this. This is how I feel. This is exactly my motivation for doing things. That's spoon-feeding. But you need to give some indication of what the character is trying to do. You're saying that there is indication that Ellie feels guilty over Joel's death. There is absolutely nothing in the game that supports that. You can say that maybe she does. Well, maybe she does. But there's absolutely nothing in the game that would support that contention. Sky Jackson? Who's that? No, spoon feeding is not subjective. Spoon feeding is when we talk about spoon feeding, like think about it. It's like a baby being spoon fed. So if like a character just comes out and literally just says, "This is my motivation for doing things." For a great example is no, but Cabo again. Why does she feels guilt about in general being a piece of shit? When? Why does she feel? When does she feel this way? She literally doesn't feel. We don't get any inference from that until she has the bad dream, and then she just decides to turn around and do it. Mac Adam, I couldn't. I literally had. This is a line literally from the script of my video. A lot of positive reviews I watch seem to praise the writer's intentions for the story, but disregard the executions of those intentions. I could not have said it better myself. That is. Oh, and Steven, I literally use that line too. When Mel calls her out in the aquarium, that is literally after she has gone back for Yara and Lev, after she has gone to the aquarium to get the. No, guys, you get Justin and Cabo. Mel calls her out as a piece of shit way later in the game. She does that after she goes back for Yara and Lev. She does that after she goes to the hospital and faces off against the Rat King to save Yara. We're talking about way later in the game. And Mel and Abby didn't even like each other before that because of the. And no, I'm not saying it's not perfect, but I'm saying that like I feel like you guys are really you're doing this thing, and this is why I see a lot of positive reviews. You're putting it all together as if it could have been, but you can't judge a story based on that. You can't judge a story. Well, if they had done this, well, if they had done that. The fact that the story has so many simple fixes that could have connected it all together. Wait, whereas Last of Us 2 just doesn't give us anything? Do you mean Last of Us Part 1? Yeah, but Mel and Abby have been at odds even before Jackson. Because Mel has been dating Owen. Mel and Owen were together before Jackson. I wonder if they had given Abby a PTSD flashback like Ellie has at the end of like kind of like how Ellie's PTSD flashbacks of Joel's death. I wonder if it's not a matter if it was on another level post Jackson. They still didn't like each other. Mel literally did not like Abby at any point before that. And again, that doesn't mean anything because it didn't seem like Abby really gave a shit all that much. Because she went back for Yara and Lev and did all that stuff before Mel called her out for being a piece of shit. Why didn't Ellie just shoot Abby in the finale? Because Oaken, it's... Oh, God. It was so stupid. Her PTSD flashback comes in the form of Lev when she's about to kill Dina. Lev is the human form of what the Firefly cause was made for. What the fuck, Heisenberg? I'm sorry, but what? But that's what I'm talking about. Why? Here's a question. Why is Abby so gung ho about slitting Dina's throat, but then when she looks at Lev, she stops? Why does Abby decide to not kill Dina when she sees Lev? Can someone explain to me precisely why does Abby decide to not kill Dina when she sees Lev? I cannot wait for these the explanations for that. So why doesn't Abby kill Dina when she sees Lev? And this is the thing about, and this is like the fine line between Lev says Abby, and then, no, okay, so let's get this straight. Abby is kicking the shit out of Dina. She puts a knife to her throat. Ellie says she's pregnant. And then Abby says, good, is about to cut a pregnant woman's throat. And then Lev says, Abby. And then she just looks at him, and then she stops. Wait, so hang on. Let's just get this straight. Let me listen to these. Lev is the one person she has left. If she does, she will lose her, she will lose him and go down the opposite path of Fireflies. That is complete conjecture, Heisenberg. If she cuts Dina's throat, why would Lev give a shit? Abby could have been like, hey, these people killed all my friends. That's complete conjecture. Lev sees her as a good person. The only person Abby knows that sees her as good. She kills Dina, inspires Let's Play. Abby ruins it. So she didn't kill Dina because she didn't want Lev to think she was a good person. I thought the entire segment was about her becoming a good person. I don't think Abby did what she did because she was. I don't think Abby went back for Yara and Lev because was she trying to impress them? Was she trying to make people think she was good? That's weird. Because she trusts him, I don't even know what that means yet. Had Lev not been there, Abby would have done it. Well, that's the thing, Chris M, is they do all this to be like, Abby's a good person, look, and then why did you... What would have been great, what would have been fantastic, is if the moment that Ellie says that Dina is pregnant, that Abby remembers that Mel is dead because of her. Isn't it weird that the entire fucking Abby's entire segment is built around her coming? Isn't it weird that Abby's entire segment? Well, that's another thing too, Mac Adam. Her kill. It's so funny because Abby leaving Ellie alive is supposed to be like this, like big redemption, like oh, it's forgiveness. Well, why didn't Abby kill her back in Seattle? Or sorry, not Seattle, Jackson. Lev is the personification of what Abby's dad stood for, which is trying to help the world. She will get no satisfaction. That is once again complete conjecture, Heisenberg. This is just like us trying to give some meaning to it. But sorry, to go back, what would have worked perfectly, isn't it weird if Abby's entire segment is about her becoming a good person and learning forgiveness and empathy? At no point does Abby seem to realize that she is the cause of everyone's death. Does Abby never has a plot beat of like, holy shit, Mel and Owen and these people are dead because of my actions. If I had never had them go to Jackson and kill Joel with me, they would all still be alive to this day. Abby never has that plot beat. It is so weird. And that could have been a great moment. She's about to kill Dina. Ellie's like, hey, how is that different than... Well, the problem is, Bleers, is that the game shoots that, like, because Abby knew that Ellie was immune. The problem is that the game shoots itself in the foot because they add in that stupid line about how Jerry Anderson was the only surgeon who could have created a vaccine. Why? Why was Jerry the only person on the face of the planet who could develop a vaccine? Why? There's no other surgeon who could do it? And again, all you guys are putting forward like very like reasonable and very good thematic elements. The point I am making is that it doesn't put the pieces together. There is no other surgeon in the Firefly faction. Yeah, but so what? They have nurses there. They have other... No, that's not what she says. She said the only person who could make a vaccine is dead. You don't think the Fireflies who have been searching for years and years and years and years to make a vaccine wouldn't go get Ellie just on the off chance they find another surgeon? Why not just keep Ellie and then train yourself to be a surgeon and do it? That was such a stupid plot point because they wanted to put the whole vaccine thing to bed. They didn't want to deal with it anymore. So that's why they were like, Jerry's the only one who could do it. That is complete... What? Why? Why is he the only person... Why is she the only... Why would Jerry be the only person in the world who can make a vaccine? That was so stupid. That's a reach. What's a reach? You're saying that the Fireflies who have been searching for a vaccine for like almost a decade, the Fireflies who've been searching for over a decade, they lose one surgeon and are like, oh man, we'll never make a vaccine now. Why? What surgeon couldn't create a vaccine from the cordyceps fungus? That's ridiculous. And I'm not even saying that I'm not even saying that like, oh, if they could find someone else. The point is like the way they frame it couldn't be a possibility that they, oh, well, maybe, yeah. Did they die in that time period? Who, Ellie? Couldn't be possible that they died during that time period? That would even make more sense for them to go get Ellie. Wouldn't they want to keep the girl who is immune by their side? They could have found any other surgeon who could have done it. What I'm saying is that finding a girl who is immune is a lot more rare than finding a surgeon who could create the vaccine. The whole Jerry Anderson, he's the only one who could do it thing, was so stupid. Well, that's the thing, Steven. That adds a whole other element of the Fireflies about like whether you think it'd be worth it or not. Well, that's the thing, Knives. It's like, oh, well, the Fireflies only had one surgeon. Okay, they can find another. And again, why? If they had a girl who could create a vaccine, wouldn't they just take her, make sure she's safe and that she's with them, and then go about what I'm saying is that finding another surgeon to do the surgery would be a hell of a lot easier than finding someone else who had the vaccine, who was immune. The reason the game did it was because they knew that the moment Ellie found out that the Fireflies tried to make a vaccine from her death, she would have hightailed it to find the Fireflies. Exactly, Steven. That's another good point. Again, it's not like Joel like did a statistical analysis. Oh, I wonder if this vaccine will work. Like, no, he just didn't give a shit. We have to judge him based on his decisions, based on the information he had at the time. But no, the reason the game did that is because if Ellie heard, hey, the Fireflies, we almost had a vaccine, we just need Ellie, then the moment Ellie heard that tape recorder, she would have fucked off and tried to find the Fireflies. But because the line where she says the only person who could make a vaccine is dead, Jerry Anderson, it puts it to bed. That is the only reason that line is in the entire goddamn game. It's so fucking stupid. I think you're reaching in that the game truly meant that Heidelberg, that's what the game says. That's what the game says. You're saying that the Fireflies, who have been searching for a vaccine for decades, like at least 10 years, one of their surgeons dies and they just give up? I mean, this is what I'm saying. It's like, it's just, any way you look at it, it just becomes ridiculous. They literally say he's the only, let me look up the actual line. Let's see if we can find it. Let me see if I can find it. They have subtitles. I was the one who wanted to go up to smuggle on the girl. They said, even if we found her or by some miracle found someone else that's immune, it'd make no difference. Because the only person who could develop a vaccine is dead. That is the line. Let's zoom it in. Oh, hang on. I missed it. Yep, I'm messing up. It'd make no difference. Hang on, let me pause it on the screen. All right, come on, speak loud, speak faster. The only person who could develop a vaccine is dead. So in order for us to buy this, what this Firefly is saying, that for the last 10 years, they have been searching for a person, these immune people, who are incredibly rare, like insanely rare. To the point where, like as Ellie said, she had... Imagine finding another surgeon with the capabilities. So imagine finding a girl who's immune. That's 10 times more difficult than finding a surgeon. And again, even if that is the case, Heidelberg, the line is because the only person who could develop a vaccine is dead. That is the line And this is the thing. And this is what we're talking about when we're talking about writing and being charitable. I could say, oh, well, maybe she's talking about like in the Fireflies. Or, well, maybe she mentions like, it would be too hard to find another surgeon. Well, maybe anything, but that's not what the game says. We have to go by the text. The only person who could develop a vaccine is that. That is what the game says. You can interpret that and kind of stretch it and mold it any way you want. But that's what the game says. Again, if you like the game and you want to make it work, you can interpret this line any way you want. But I have to go by the text. I have to go by what the game tells us. Because the only person who could develop a vaccine is dead. That's what the game says. That's what I have to go by. As much as I would like to... But that's the thing, Heisenberg. That's the whole point. They kind of did this stupid thing where, oh, he was the only person on Earth who could do it because they didn't want to deal with it. Because that's not the story they wanted to tell. Because they knew if that wasn't the case, that they would have to tell a whole different story of Ellie trying to find the Fireflies. Which could have been kind of interesting, actually. Like, imagine Ellie just searching for the Fireflies to try to, like, make a vaccine, even if they're all gone. That'd be interesting, but... Is there any more what to deal with? Okay. Did everyone vote? Has everyone voted? Yeah, I know. We got caught up. All right, hang on. All right, so ready? All right, so let's get the votes, the results. You guys have had, I think 30 minutes to vote, so. All right, let's go. So first up is Joel. We had Dylan McDermott. We had Hugh Jackman, Josh Brolin, Anson Mount, and Nikolai Coster-Waldau. And the results are... Ooh. Oh, we got a tie. We got a tie between Anson Mount and Nikolai. Oh, shit. The Cure storyline? Well, yeah, Heisenberg. I mean, that was like the whole point of the first game. That's the whole reason they... Well, actually, that's a whole other point of Part 2. Part 2 kind of dumbs Ellie down. Part 2 makes it... tell me if you guys disagree. In Part 1, I would argue that Ellie knows that Joel is lying to her. When Ellie confronts him on the outskirts of Jackson, I would argue 100% that Ellie knows, at least to some extent, that Joel is lying to her. About the Firefly Hospital and what happened there. But that's the thing, Heisenberg. They retcon that in Part 2. When Ellie goes in the second flashback, when Ellie is talking to Joel in the guitar store or the lodge or wherever they are, Ellie is retconned in Part 2 to be a lot dumber. Well, that's the thing, guys. That's almost everyone, I feel like, believes that in Part 1, that Ellie knows to some extent that Joel is bullshitting her. And yet in Part 2, no, she doesn't, Robert. No, she doesn't. If you watch Part 2, in the second flashback when she's in the lodge with Joel, here, let me see if I can look it up again. We'll get back to what am I making up? What am I making up that she actually knows? I'll prove it to you right here. That I'm making up that she knows the truth in Part 2, or that she's dumber in Part 2. Here, I'll show you. So this is the scene where she's in the lodge. And no, this is so funny because in this scene she literally goes back and forth. I'll show you in a second. It's amazing. It's like the game has a whiplash in itself. But I agree with that, Kale, but watch this scene. Watch the dialogue in this scene. And thank you, VGS, for helping us out here. So right now, Ellie is basically calling Joel out, saying like, "I've never met another immune person." Robert, let's keep it on. Like, let's not get too salty. Let's like, if you know you're wrong now, let's just admit it. So watch. So like, this is Ellie calling Joel out right now. Do you believe that bullshit story that you told me that they're immune? We traveled across the entire country to bring me to the Fireflies. I had so many questions for them. Why did you pull me out of there while I was still unconscious? So at this moment, Ellie is calling Joel out. Like, what the fuck, dude? I know something's up. I know something went wrong. I know you're bullshitting me somehow. I know there are no other immune people, like you said. So Ellie knows something's up, right? We agree with that. But then watch what she says next. Because I let them run their tests, and when I saw they were useless, I got us out of there. How did you know they were useless? Maybe if you would have given them more time, they could have figured something out. So let's put it here. In the course of a single scene, Ellie goes from saying, Joel, I know something's up. I know you're lying. I know there's bullshit. This is bullshit to some extent. To going, well, why didn't you let them study more? Maybe they could have found a vaccine. So literally Ellie goes from, this is bullshit. I don't believe you. You're lying to me. I want you to tell me the truth. To, in about 10 seconds, going, why didn't you, what if you let them run their tests? So does she believe Joel or does she not believe Joel? In this scene, what is she thinking here? Does she think Joel is lying to her, or is she calling him out for lying to her? Or what is she doing? What does she think in the scene? This is about 4 years later, Jay. Oh no, sorry, not 4. 2. It's 2 years. So she's like 16 here. So in a single scene, is it not realistic to try to fluctuate between beliefs and poke the story? No, it isn't, Heisenberg, because the entire consensus at the end of part 1 was that Ellie knows that Joel is lying to her about something what happened with the hospital, but she doesn't want to lose him, and so she puts it to bed. In this scene, at the beginning, it's like Ellie is saying, like, kind of taking a jab at him, saying, like, I know you're lying. I'm not going to pull the shit. Like, I know you're lying, and I'm kind of like throwing it in your face because I know you lied to me. Like, let's not play this game anymore. But then she goes to like, oh no, I do believe you. Why didn't you leave them there? And then this is even worse in this scene. When Ellie finds out this, think about this entire scene. When Ellie asks Joel what happened here, what is she, when she feels like so betrayed and she chastises him, it makes it seem like she's totally blindsided by this. But if in part 1, Ellie knew that Joel was lying anyway, why does she act so blindsided? What is she blindsided about? In part 1, she knew Joel was lying. Or she knew she knew to some extent he wasn't being completely honest about it. But she decided to put it to bed. So why is she so blindsided right now? Like, think about it. Like, what is she blindsided about? That he lied to her? She knew he lied to her 4 years ago. So why is she chastising him? Why is she forsaking him now? Why 4 years later? That's like, this is what I'm talking about. The game literally fluctuates. The game doesn't know what they want Ellie to believe. They don't know if they want her to be like, oh, she believes him, but she's putting it to bed. Oh, no, sorry. She doesn't believe him, she's lying, but she puts it to bed. Or she does believe him and she's a victim. Yeah, I don't know what words of God is. I wouldn't take that into account. Thank Kale, perfect. They wanted to have all these conflicting dramatic moments without considering the story as a whole. Perfect. I saw it as Ellie's life was now meaningless. It is now confirmed that the person who made her life meaningless is dead. But she knew that. Heisenberg, she knew that. At the end of part 1, she knew he was lying. She knew he was... if that was her whole thing, if that was what it was about, then she would have called him out on it right then and there. Or she would have left Jackson earlier than that. It's literally part 2 doesn't know what they want Ellie to believe. But it doesn't matter, Heisenberg. If she suspected, why wouldn't she go back to try to find the Fireflies? If she suspected he was lying, then obviously she would have been like, okay, let's go. We're going back to the Fireflies immediately. Why wait 4 years? The whole consensus in part 1 is that she knew he was lying, at least to some extent. At least to some extent that she knew, not suspected, that she knew he was lying. She's not an idiot. She's not a dumbass. She wakes up in a hospital gown and then, oh yeah, there's a bunch of immune people, yada, yada, yada. And then she just puts it to bed. Hey, what's P2? Well, P2 is the problem. Well, that's the thing. The dynamic of having Ellie believe Joel but putting it to bed is so much more interesting than having her just be bamboozled by him. But the game wants it both ways. It's like the writers didn't even know what Ellie believed. Like, does she believe him and puts it to bed? Does she not believe him? Is she betrayed? Did she, like, again, that scene where she forsakes him is a great scene, but it doesn't make any sense because she's like, oh my God, you lied to me, I forsake you. But you knew. Heisenberg, but you're just jumping all over the place to try. Again, you're trying to explain this in contradiction of what is evident in the text. Yeah, but she begins to nod her, but when she goes to the hospital, she is completely blindsided. She's like, oh my God, and then she forsakes him immediately. If she has known this entire time that he was lying to her, then what is she blindsided about? She knew he was lying to her. And for the last 4 years, if she knew he was lying to her, that means for 4 years, she has been sitting on the knowledge that she may be knowingly keeping a vaccine from being developed. Because if Ellie even suspected that Joel was lying, she should have gone back for the Fireflies, right? Because Ellie has been literally sitting on the knowledge that Joel might be lying about the Fireflies for 4 years. So she's blindsided about what? She knew he was lying. Like, literally, the game has no idea what it wants or what Ellie believes. I have an entire section about this, about like how the game just kind of betrayed Ellie. Or just like they literally had no idea what they wanted. Sorry, we can keep going, but let me just get to Tommy. All right, so for the vote for Tommy. Ooh. Oh, uh-oh. We have a tie between Christian Slater and Anthony Starr. We'll have to do tiebreakers. Again, and the thing is just not to like have any bad blood in the chat. I completely agree that there are so many probable ways that the game could have worked. There are so many probable ways that things could have worked and they could have gone. It's just the game just doesn't. It's so incoherent, it's not even funny. All right, we have Tess. The results are Gary and Moss. Hell yeah. Christian Slater, I didn't even think of him before we started. I actually really like him for Tommy. But Anthony Starr will be great too. All right, we have Marlene coming up. I'm actually excited for this one because this was a stacked field. All right, we had Regina King, Jada Pinkett Smith, Gabrielle Union, Zoe Saldana, Halle Berry, Cynthia Addie Robinson, Rosario Dawson, Tamara Taylor, and Beyonce. And the winner is Rosario Dawson. All right, cool. I'm the tiebreaker? Okay. Damn it, I don't want to do the tiebreaker. Okay, well, if I'm doing the tiebreaker, then Nikolai's out. I do not like him for Joel. I think because he's become such a likable character in Game of Thrones that I can't see him as like this like super morally gray character in um, Last of Us. I don't think he'd be a good Joel. And in case of Tommy, I'd go with Anthony Starr. I think Christian Slater wouldn't make any sense because I think he's actually older than he'd be older than Anson Mount, or at least he looks older. I think Anthony Starr looks like a younger version of Anson, actually. And then Anthony Starr. Yeah, that works. That works actually really well. Oh shit. Oh, that's actually good. Oh damn. Oh. Hey, let's find a better picture of him. Yeah, that Jets Joel and Tommy right there. That works perfectly. Oh, you guys were right on it for these two. Oh man, dude. Yes, I like it. All right, so Anthony Starr. All right, so Bill's up. Okay, I'm excited for this one. I wonder who you guys picked for Bill. And Bill, and the winner is W.L. Brown. Is he is the mocap actor? Hell yeah! All right, I liked it. I mean, I saw the mocap. Oh, Aaron Eckhart is Tommy. Yeah, that would have been good. He might be a bit older now though. Again, because remember, Dark Knight came out 12 years ago. He kind of, I don't know if he looks like Tommy, but he kind of had like the same like kind of good guy vibe. But yeah, I'm glad that W.O. Brown got the win. Henry, ooh, okay, so this is gonna be a good one. I do not know who we're gonna pick for Henry. But that's what I like about it, Justin. I like that they made Ellie unlikable. I think that the writers really pushed out in making Ellie a truly irredeemable character. It's really weird if you play part 2, all of the canon kills that Ellie makes are like weirdly structured in a way that protects her. Ellie kills Jordan, Whitney, Owen, Mel in borderline self-defense. You could argue that. Again, you could argue that her going to Seattle in the first place is bad, or her pulling a gun on them. But Jordan, he's trying to hurt Dina. Whitney pulls a knife on her. Owen tries to grab the gun, and Mel pulls a knife on her. So all 4 of those deaths you could argue are in kind of self-defense. And again, I'm not saying that like she's totally clean, but the game did this on purpose to try to protect her as much as possible. It's not like she kills any of them in cold blood. Even Nora, even when Ellie kills Nora, as horrifying as it is, why did they have Nora succumb to the cordyceps infection before Ellie killed her? Like, why? Just think about that. Why? Well, that's the thing, Heisenberg. That's why I don't think they had Abby kill Ellie and Dina. Abby killing Dina would make sense. I'm sorry, Abby not killing Dina makes sense to some extent. Abby not killing Ellie is ridiculous. Abby lets her go. She kills all of her friends. Is like, you know what? I'm gonna let you go again. It's like, what? Well, that's the thing, Yatin. When Ellie kills Fat Geralt, the Rattler, the reason the game doesn't call attention to it is because the game doesn't give a shit by the end. Because the Rattlers, the entire game, they're trying to humanize. That's a good point, Bleeders. That's kind of the whole narrative dissonance thing. I talk about that a little bit in the script. Yatin, that's a great point. By the end of the game, this entire game, they're trying to make you feel like conflicted about the people you kill. So why was the final faction of the game, the Rattlers, a bunch of psychotic, sadistic slave traders? The entire time, the game is asking you to like, hey, you should see it from the other side and humanize your enemy. And then in the last segment, they're like, actually, you know what? The Rattlers are just psychotic, sadistic motherfuckers. It's because the game didn't want you to care. The game wanted you to stop being conflicted. In the final section, the game didn't want you conflicted about killing the Rattlers. It just wanted you to have fun, like, hey, let's kill all these Rattlers. Because, like, why wouldn't it? They're all sadistic slave traders. There's nothing. There's at no point are the Rattlers like framed as like, oh, they're just victims of circumstance. Even like David from part 1, David and his people, the cannibals, you could argue that they are framed as like victims of circumstance, like they're cannibals because they need to survive. In no way is that true about the Rattlers. The Rattlers are framed as like sadistic fucks. It's so weird. The entire game, they're like, man, killing is bad, man. You know, these are real people. And then the final section, they're like, yeah, but not these guys. You can kill them. You can kill them whenever you want. Or not even that, Heisenberg, but and that does take into account, but we'll get into that. It's the fact that why is Nora suffering for the cordyceps infection when you kill her? That's a good point, Steven. They force your hand and tell you how bad it is. Precisely. It's kind of like the whole Game of Thrones Tyrion when they call Dany out on her shit, even though they framed it as like her being like a badass like girl power thing. In the book, it's a lot more not cut and dry. Well, that was the thing, Chris M. A lot of people thought that introducing the Rattlers that way was stupid. They needed someone for Ellie to fight, but it just, they needed something. They needed a final enemy. Yeah, that's the other thing, Mac. I really think it would have been more interesting if the game, if you guys have played New Vegas, you'll know what I'm talking about. Kaisar's Legion. The entire game, they're just framed as like these psychos, but then you go to Kaisar's Island at the end and you talk to him, and it's like a huge conversation, and he literally basically lays out their entire philosophy, and by the end of it, you're kind of like, oh shit, like you're making a lot of like reasonable points, or at the very least, I can understand why you're doing that. The Seraphites weren't that. They just kind of were like, yeah, they were just like, they're cult psychos. I think it would have been really interesting if they developed the conflict between the WLF and the Seraphites as one of not just land, but one of philosophy. I think that would have been very interesting. But so yeah, anyone who's talking about Nora, why did they have Nora succumb to the cordyceps infection before Ellie kills her? Why? Why not just have Ellie corner her and kill her herself? Why did Nora have to be suffering from the infection? Simple. Because they didn't want Ellie to kill her in cold blood. Even if you think that Ellie torturing Nora is horrible and terrible, and you could argue it is, and it definitely is, the thing is that Nora's already dead, right? If anything, you could almost argue that Ellie torturing Nora to death and killing her is almost giving her mercy in a way, right? What would be more horrible, Ellie beating Nora to death for the information and killing her, or, that's a good point, Steven, the infection does, well, I mean, she was kind of like in the spores, all that. I agree, Chris M. I really wanted a more Wait, what's the Reach Bleeders? Why they had Nora succumbing to the... Oh, no, I'm just saying, like, in terms of... They frame Ellie killing Nora as bad, but what I'm saying is that they structure it in a way... Well, Ellie dragged her into an infected area. Ellie, because remember, Nora runs, Ellie catches her, the other soldiers have her at gunpoint, and then Ellie falls into the basement. So it's not like Ellie did it in terms of intent, right? It's just very... I remember thinking during the scene, like, why is she succumbing to the virus? Well, Knives, I think if you look up interviews with Druckmann, he was talking about the WLF and Seraphites conflict being akin to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Did she fall into the spores on purpose? Or, I mean, what else would she have done? I mean, again, even if she did, like, there was really no other way for her to go. She was torn by the WLF soldiers. How do I think the game would have been different if Bruce Stanley was co-director? It would have... they would have put Ellie and Abby's stories cut back and forth instead of A and B. The A-B structure is fatal to the game. The A/B structure is become so insistive, and the moment you start playing as Abby, the reason it doesn't work is because it's so blatantly obvious what the creators are trying to do. As soon as you start playing as Abby, you're like, oh, I get it. Like, oh, we know what's happening. We know why you're doing this. So the entire point that the section is trying to make is accomplished in the first 15 seconds of the 8-hour sequence. If they had cut back and forth, yeah, but see, Dredd, I don't think that's why Ellie did it. I don't think Ellie did it like, I'm gonna get Nora infected, so I can, so she can suffer. I don't think that was going through her head. Ellie was kind of forced into a position. And again, I'm not saying that the game is trying to like make Ellie like totally like I'm just an innocent victim, but the game deliberately makes it so that she doesn't go too far off the deep end. Even when she's torturing Nora, again, why have Nora infected at that point? It just seemed kind of weird, didn't it? I always remember wondering, I was like, why did they do that? And then even if that was the case, later on when she kills Owen and Mel, if it's a downfall, how come she kills Owen and Mel in self-defense? Because Owen tries to grab the gun for her. She wasn't going to kill Owen and Mel. Owen tries to grab the gun for her, and then Mel pulls a knife on him. Keep in mind, neither Owen or Mel decide to mention the fact that Mel is pregnant, which is kind of fucked up when you think about it. It's just the game was the game was almost self-conscious in its treatment of Ellie. It's like, oh, we want her to be a bad person, but we don't want her to be too bad. Because think about it. If Ellie, and that's kind of the whole point, if the entire ending is Ellie's redemptive, if Ellie's entire, well, that's the thing, Yatin. The problem with Abby's flashbacks is the reason they don't work as well as Ellie's, or because Ellie's flashbacks work in the sense that maybe Ellie is processing all of this. Ellie is processing her relationship with Joel, so it makes sense. Abby's flashbacks, not so much. Abby's flashbacks are solely for the viewer. Some of the flashbacks are kind of, they're both for the viewer, but they make more sense in Ellie's segment. Exactly, Dredd. Like, what if Ellie killed Mel in such a furor that she didn't realize she was pregnant? That would have worked. But they couldn't have that happen because the ending has Ellie spare Abby. If she had killed Mel in or Owen in cold blood before that, it would have made her sparing Abby kind of pointless. It's like, oh yeah, you spared Abby, but you also killed a pregnant woman in cold blood. So that's why they kind of had to do that. It's really weird. And that's not even taking into account all the gameplay kills. Those are just the canon kills, like the cinematic kills, like the QuickTime events. But that's not even taking into account all the people that you could massacre literally tons of innocent people, not even in self-defense. And the game doesn't really take that into account. Well, that's kind of the thing, Justin. I wonder if it's a case of like maybe a lot of people were like, okay, Neil, we'll do whatever you say, and just trusting him a little bit too much. Instead of like, yeah, this isn't going to work. That can happen a lot. This big companies get way too up their own asses, and it's like, oh, we cannot fail. And it's like, no, you could fail. All right. Sorry. Back to Henry. Donald Glover, Harry Pernew, Chadwick, Brandon Scott, Donald Glover, Michael B. Jordan, Yusuf Gatewood, Daniel Kaluuya. I actually like him for that. Yeah, Abdul Mateen. And the winner is Donald Glover. All right. I think someone mentioned before about like the emotional moments. I think Donald Glover could pull it off. He's great. If you haven't seen him in Atlanta, he's a very good dramatic actor. It's more comedy too, but he's good. He's got the drama chops. Maria. All right, let's do Maria. All right, we had Rosamund Pike. We had Elizabeth Shue, Charlize Theron, Jodie Comer, Ashley Scott, Kim Dickens, Paula Malcolmson, Katie Sackhoff, and Ariel Kebbel. And the winner is Kim Dickens. All right. I'm actually pumped about that. She does look a little bit older than the guy Anthony Starr, but who cares? Well, I don't buy that, Mac. Well, most of the in-game kills could be argued as self-defense. If if WLF members are walking down the street and Ellie is like stealth, and I stand up and just cap them in the head, that is not self-defense. It's not. Again, it's not like morally repugnant. It's not like she's like slitting an innocent person's throat, but it does cause a massive problem in the. And again, it causes a problem in the sense that then why did they have Ellie's cannon kills all be in pretty much clear self-defense, as opposed to Nora? Why did they have she killed Jordan in the way she did? Why did she have Owen and Mel kill the way she did? Why did Whitney pull the knife on her? It's just, again, it just kind of, and again, you could be very charitable with that, but again, it's just, and this is again an example of like the gameplay. Here's the thing. Someone in my Discord mentioned about how like ludonarrative dissonance was used in Last of Us Part 2 as a sort of a deconstruction of it. I'd argue that doesn't work on any level whatsoever. I explain it in the script. Part 1 had no ludonarrative dissonance. Whether you kill everyone as Joel or whether you kill no one as Joel, well, that's exactly it, Mac. It's the mess between mechanics. So Heisenberg. So ludonarrative dissonance. Here, let me pull it up actually real quick. So ludonarrative dissonance is the conflict between a video game's narrative told through the story and the narrative told through gameplay. So here's an example. Sort of like a regular example is like in Call of Duty when like you're trying to kill. Actually, I'm not going to go there. It's kind of a weird thing. The best example is Uncharted. Jeffrey Matufer of Eurogamer used the term when referencing the Uncharted series, saying Uncharted has often been mocked for being about a supposedly likable rogue who just so happens to recklessly slaughter hundreds of people. That's a good point, Heisenberg. Yeah, it's kind of like in the gameplay of a game, in a game, if you're killing people, the game doesn't want you to take gameplay kills as canon. You know how like in a gameplay a character can get shot like 50 times before they die and they can have like regenerative regenerating healing? That's kind of an example of that in the sense that it's like a part of the game that needs to exist for the gameplay. Exactly, Heisenberg. Like Nora's death compared to a random NPC. Like, we're supposed to feel really bad about beating Nora to death, and yet Ellie like drives axes into like all these WF members into like their necks. But the game is asking us for some reason to weigh Nora's death is a lot heavier and morally gray than the WF member. That's kind of the ludonarrative dissonance. And a lot of people have talked about how the game tries to play with this. However, I would argue that doesn't work because of the Rattler sequence. There is no ludonarrative dissonance in the Rattler sequence. The game is literally giving you, it's almost like the game is giving you a license to kill without moral grayness. Like the entire time the game is like, well, the WLF members could be good people, and killing them is kind of fucked up, man. And you have to decide whether that's good or not. But then the Rattlers, it's almost like the game's telling you, they're sadists, they're slave traders, you can kill them all and you don't have to feel bad about it. Like, no one cares that Ellie kills the Rattlers. They're all psycho slave traders. Here's a point of contention, though. Part 1 has no... I think an excuse is that she killed no one in self-defense. Yeah, but still, Heisenberg, it's the fact that, like you said, the game treats Nora's death, or even like Mel and Owen's death, or like those characters, it treats their death differently than it does like NPCs in the actual gameplay. Because the NPCs in gameplay are optional. You don't have to kill them. You can. It's almost like the game is asking you to. A better way to put it is like let's say you go through the entire game slaughtering mercilessly every single WLF member, and then the end of the game is like, oh, but I spared Abby. It's like, well, who gives a shit? You literally killed hundreds of people before this point. That's kind of the point. The game is kind of like saying like, don't worry about those people. It doesn't really matter. Like, you know, it's almost like a suspension of disbelief sort of thing. However, in part 1, there is no ludonarrative dissonance. By the time the game starts with Joel has done so much fucked up shit that he is in no way a morally redeemable character. In no way is Joel supposed to be a morally redeemable character. So if you go through the entire game killing everyone in your way, or you go through the entire game sneaking around people and not killing a single person, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you play the game. Because Joel by this point is not trying, his moral purity. Well, that's the thing, Heisenberg. That's the lie that Joel tells himself. Oh, it was him or me. It's all about survival. That's bullshit. At the very end of the game, when Marlene tells Joel there's no other choice here, Joel literally calls her out and says like, yeah, you keep telling yourself that bullshit. It's like Joel is like calling out his own hypocrisy. Joel for years has been saying, oh, it's survival. I had to do what I had to do. That's probably bullshit. Like, from what we know, like what Joel did as a hunter, Joel probably did a lot of fucked up shit that he didn't quote unquote have to do. Like, Joel probably did a lot of fucked up shit that he was not put in a situation where it was me or him. He may use that to justify it to himself so he can sleep at night, but he doesn't. He knows that's bullshit. It's not like Joel is like, oh, I've done everything because I had no choice. Like, no, he did not. He did not. He knew what he was doing. At the beginning, during Tess's death scene, she actually calls this out. She goes, we've been shitty people for so long, Joel. And he goes, no, we're survivors. And again, he calls that out at the end. It's basically Joel saying, I know I'm a piece of shit. I know I've done things that are bad and aren't just self-defense or justifiable, but I'm a survivor, so it's okay. And so there actually is no ludonarrative dissonance at all in part 1. And it works thematically. Whether you kill, it's really brilliant because the game, it doesn't matter how you interact with the game, it works either way. Part 2 does not. Part 2 is, it doesn't work. It just... Exact, Mac. It's like, and what the game is asking us is like, how far are we gonna believe Joel's bullshit? When Joel is like, oh, I'm just surviving. Oh yeah, so when you were acting as a hunter, was that just about survival? You probably killed a lot of innocent people, Joel. Was that just about surviving? Or did you do things that you didn't have to do, but you did so you could live a little bit easier? He kind of used his quote-unquote surviving as a way to justify his actions. And what the game asks us as the player is that, do you go along with that? Or at some point, are you going to call Joel out for that bullshit line of reasoning? And this is completely warped at the very end. Because if Joel was doing this, oh, we're just doing this for the greater good, I'm doing it because I need to. But so why does he save Ellie? Right? Because if he was all about surviving and doing what we need to, he would have let Ellie die because it's for the greater good, right? But he doesn't. He saves her. So he literally, actually, there's a quote here by Walt Williams, who wrote Spec Ops: The Line. Embracing ludonarrative dissonance allows the developers to portray a character as a hypocrite and force the character to rationalize their actions. That is Joel in a nutshell. Ludonarrative dissonance allows the developer to portray the character as a hypocrite and force the character to rationalize their actions. That is literally what part 1 does. Oh, we're Joel. He's the hero. He's trying to save Ellie. And the game is asking us, do you find that as a justifiable excuse for all the horrible things that Joel has done and does throughout the game? It's part 1 uses it brilliantly. Part 2 didn't really think it through. And it kind of half-assed it, and it's kind of half-baked. And that's just part 2 is just they really overshot their shot. They tried to put in so many things and do so many things that it just comes off as like, what the fuck? I think the term was coined by Clint Hawking when he was talking about BioShock. BioShock, he claimed it promotes the theme of self-interest through its gameplay while promoting the opposing theme of selflessness through its narrative, which is very true. All right, sorry. So where were we at? All right, we got our whole cast, and now we have David. I'm kind of curious who David's going to get. Let's see. Let's see. And the winner for David's casting is John Hawkes. All right. I think that works. Willem Dafoe, because the thing about David is, and I think this is why John Hawkes works. As much as I would have loved Willem Dafoe, he's very unassuming. Like that's kind of how David is in the game. Like he almost kind of seems like a nice guy, and then his evil side comes out. And I think John Hawkes can do both. I think Willem Dafoe is kind of had like this vibe of like, oh shit, he's trouble, you know. I at least I think so. I think John Hawkes is a good view. All right. Well, that's the thing, Mac. It's like and that could be a deconstruction of ludonarrative dissonance. But then why make the Rattlers a bunch of psychos? And even the Seraphites to some extent, the Seraphites really aren't humanized in any way, shape, or form. It only works with the WLF. Also, and this is just me, and I really kind of have to bring this up because I it's kind of political, but I have to bring it up. If you look into the development of Last of Us Part 2, Neil Druckmann talks about how it was based around the WLF and the Seraphites being like the Israel and Palestine, like the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Okay, so let's just I'm gonna be walking on eggshells here. So he wanted to use the Israeli-Palestinian conflict as like the basis of the WLF versus the Seraphites. How are the two factions framed? The WLF is given a lot of they do bad stuff, but they're given a lot of leeway. We spend a lot of time with them. There's a lot of humanization of them. And like their philosophy and why they do what they do. And then the Seraphites, who I suppose would be the Palestinians in this case, are just like religious zealot psychos, right? So, again, I know it's not like a 1-to-1 comparison, but it's just a little weird. It's like, you're kind of, I kind of felt like in the game you were kind of favoring one side over the other. Like I feel like the way the game is framed doesn't really make it into like a both sides are equal sort of thing. Like, oh, they're just they're just like two forces on opposite sides. Like, no, one is favored over the other, I would argue, by a large margin. It's like Like, I feel like if they really wanted to pull the whole every good guy is a bad guy of someone else's story, they would have kind of built up, like kind of how I said in like New Vegas, how they like really like Kaisar's Legion is really framed as like these psychos, but then when you get to their island, you kind of start to like, oh, I actually kind of see your point. I see what your viewpoint is, your worldview is. We don't really get that at all with the Seraphites. They're just kind of like, yeah, they're just psychos who cut people's stomachs open and take their entrails out. And it's like, it kind of feels like you're kind of favoring one side over the other, dude. It just doesn't work. And again, like I said, I'm kind of walking on eggshells. I didn't realize how much people hated the game until I went on. And this is what upsets me the most, Heisenberg. It's not the fact that I don't like when you watch my video on it, you will be amazed at how positive I speak of the game. It's just that the way that some sections are so brilliant and the way other things are so horribly, horribly, horribly done, it just makes it that much worse. Because if I'm watching like a bad movie that was never going to be good in the first place, I'd be like, this is fun, whatever. It's bad, but like whatever. I expect it to be bad. The fact that there's so much brilliance in The Last of Us Part 2, but the highs are so high, but the lows are so fucking low, it just makes it that much worse because it basically like ruins the highs. And again, this is kind of going back to my theory about like looking at it as a full story. I can't say, oh, well, this scene was good, this scene was good, this part was good, this sequence was good. But when I'm judging it as a whole, I have to look at it as a whole. You know, I can't do the like it's kind of like as I said, like lessen some of its parts. That's the whole point I'm making. But what is it, 3? Okay. Ooh, that was a good stream. I'll probably call it. So Anson Mount for Joel, Anthony Starr for Tommy, Carrie Ann Moss for Tess, Jerome Flynn for Robert, Rosario Dawson for Marlene, W.L. Brown for Bill, love it, Donald Glover for Henry, Kim Dickens for Maria, and John Hawkes as David. I like this. I think this is pretty solid. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put together like a an image of it, and I'm gonna post it in the community page, and Twitter, and probably my Discord too. And we'll just kind of have this as like our, and then we'll have to save it. And then when the show comes out, we'll see who they cast. And if we're right, or if the casting director is watching this video, we better get a fucking commission check. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Heisenberg, and that's kind of like why I hate Last of Us 2 for so many reasons, completely related to like story and writing. And then like I said, some idiots like, oh, Lev is trans, I hate the game. Like, what are you talking about? That's a good point, at Mac Adam. The fact that I love the fact that part 1 was so good makes part 2 hurt just that much. Maybe later, Dread. My girlfriend's coming back from a weekend trip later, so I might be busy. I have to go eat. I'm starving. But I might be. But yeah, I will save this again, and I'll post something in like the chat. Thanks everyone for coming out and doing it. I agree, Heidelberg. I think the representation in the game was done wonderfully. The biggest sandwich thing was kind of weird, but whatever. I think Lev was done fantastically. I think he's a fantastic example of Lev is a fantastic example of representation done right. But yeah, I'm all set up in my new place now, so I'll probably do some more streams. Maybe until dawn. Someone mentioned that seems like a fun thing to do. So I'll consider it and I'll look into it. But until then, thank you everyone for coming out, and I will see you guys later.